Immediately, just right as we come back.
And
Sorry about that. Apparently, it didn't like all of the 14 windows and programs I had up. So, yeah. Let's try
Seems
this
like
again.
satellite internet.
Weird. Satellite internet is awful. Yeah. For anyone in chats, if the music is too loud, let me know. I can turn it down. Otherwise, good to go. So, like I was saying, as you all are doing whatever it is you're doing in your hideouts, whatever you're doing to pass the time between jobs, there is a loud knocking at the door, followed by a, "Hey, open up, I know someone's in there."
Yeah, Galahad will walk to the door and look back, make sure that his teammates or his fellow gang members realize that this may or may not be a fight that's going to happen. And then he'll open the door.
sitting in a chair, just casually have a gun ready.
Yeah, have we got guns?
I have guns.
Yeah,
Do you
I
not
have
have
guns.
guns?
Up to you.
Did
What's
you
up,
not
girl?
take guns?
I don't have a gun. I've got a projectile launcher, alright?
Hooper, what does this one determine our loads?
No, so when you go into a
Okay.
mission is when you determine
Oh, gotcha.
if you're going light, medium, or heavy, and then while you're in the mission is when you'll just mark off,
What
you
you
load
got?
it as you.
I see. All right, cool. Then yeah, I will open the door and try to look as menacing as I can.
So just pull straight up, pulling the door open, not like trying to get a peek at who's out there first or anything.
No, Galahad is a pretty straightforward person.
And then Galahad dies immediately as you just shot him.
Talking about I'm the beefiest boy.
Meeting you there at the door is a equally brawly looking gentleman. Kind of semi clean attire. Like you can tell he's not quite comfortable. This is probably more of a hands-on labor worker. But you do recognize the outfit. So you all are from this district. As being from the local gang. And he just takes a moment to look you up and down. Bill Hooks are coming calling. You live off of our goodwill, survive off our protection. Time you pay that back.
From the back, you hear just feathers calling. Oi, get in here! My papers are flying away, and it's fucking cold.
What are you doing? Why are you telling them to come in there?
Well, it's cold. It's cold, and my freaking papers are flying away. I'm trying to write here.
Do you not
Get
have
a-
a paperweight?
Get a fucking paperweight. What are you talking about?
Well, then get your ass over here and sit on my paper.
Damn right I will.
Right. Well, they're having their own little thing. Shim on the back. Hell, Bill Hooks ever did then take 20%. Oh, I went southern on that.
A little bit. Kind of liked it.
That's one of my better ones. But what did Bill Hooks ever do besides take 20% of whatever we learned?
Leans
Less
out
thirst.
past Galahad. Now scanning the room and scanning all of you. You mean, other than letting you all work here, keeping you safe, keeping the law off your asses, other than that, I'm not the one to answer that question. Maybe you should, take it up with Hammond. Sure, he'd love to hear about how the Bill Hooks aren't doing much for you.
And he's the one we're going to talk to if we want to maybe sign up for your little blood feud.
Not gonna be a blood feud. These, newcomers, they're gonna step into these streets and they're gonna learn really quick that we own them. We just need to make sure that there's no surprises from our home turf. You understand?
Of course. I understand you want your back secure. Now, why don't you give us some time to ruminate and figure out how's we gonna help you?
He'll reach into his pocket and just pull out a small business card. Hand it over to Galahad.
Very
Here you
good.
go. You, decide you want to play for the right team? Come meet us. We got work for you. We don't see you. We'll have to assume that you went rogue. Went to try and fight these invaders yourselves and died in the line of combat. Why else would you not come and support us? You understand?
I understand.
They'll turn.
Now, if you don't mind, yeah. Thank you. Goodbye. Slams door.
Oh, I need a drink.
Are you good there, Thelian?
Oh, this whole business. I don't want to get involved in a gang war. I just want to do my own thing. I want us to be able to
Easy.
do our own thing.
Easy, all of you. Chill out. This is an opportunity, not a threat.
It
They're gonna
sounds
be
like
too
me
busy.
concealing death either way we go.
Not if we play it right, not if we're smart about it.
I'm listening
not sure
with
how to
your.
be smart about it.
It's simple. They're gonna be at each other's throats. They're gonna be looking for more hands to squeeze tighter. We just gotta figure out who we want to grapple and who we think we can get the better drop on. Then the other person could be in so much debt, maybe bleeding out. We might be able to get a little bit more in the future if we play it smart.
Can we decide who's the bigger asshole and just go with the one who's not bad?
Still kind of fucking conscious. You didn't have
No,
that-
I am sick and tired of dealing with assholes.
That sounds like a conscious
She's got
to
a
me.
point. Look, she's got a point.
I don't care what their
think-
morals are, but at least let them be polite.
Look, the Bill Hook gang, they're too big. They're too powerful for their own good. I reckon if we're going to side with anyone, we go against them, and then we split up whatever's left over.
That's
What
a
if we
so
lose
bold
that?
move, though. I mean, if we, decide to take on the Bill Hooks, then if they win the side, then we are screwed. The amount of
Well, we're
resources they
screwed.
have, we can disappear faster than before.
We're screwed either way.
And
Either
if
we're
we-
going up against one side or we're going up against the other. I'm just trying to think about which one's going to get us the bigger payday.
I said we play both sides.
Hard, easier said than done. They're gonna be on lookout. They're gonna want people in the streets. This ain't somewhere we could do some shady dealings where you could, do a little face swapping. This is gonna have to be some clear commitment if we want to get in tight.
Well, do we want to get in tight, or are we trying to keep on the outside?
You know who keeps on the outside? You know who keeps on the outside? Insignificant people.
People have got their own shit to do.
Do we have our own shit to do? Because currently, that 20% was us feeding off of scraps that the Bill Hooks didn't think were important enough. We want to move up in the city, we get ourselves in good with a larger gang, and slowly take control more and more from them. And that's not going to happen if we just keep acting like we're too cool to show up to a party. Because the fact is, we're not.
I don't think this is going to be slow. This is going to be one bloody day, or fight, I should say. And the winner's going to come out on top, and they're going to be remembered forever. They're going to be legends. And that's what I'm trying to go for, make a name for myself.
Yeah,
Shouldn't we see what the other side has to offer first?
I'll tell you what the other side has to offer. It's the exact same thing that these fuckers have to offer, except they're new, and they're going to be looking to promise maybe a little bit more, but in truth, they're promising the same exact thing. Continued existence and altogether cozy understanding that we own our little square turf here, and we can continue to feud with the same little pups that we've been fighting with.
Well, then what's
Yeah,
your plan?
but-
Yeah, since you already know, why are we talking about it?
I'm just putting out our options either way, because the fact is, if they get sending this to us, they're sending this to everybody and everybody around us, not just us, but all the other little, those who pay tribute are going to be thinking the same thing we're thinking right now. And we could try and find some words on the street for how everyone else is leaning, but the fact of the matter is, if we're real loyal, they're going to give us a lot more room to expand, because they're going to think we're real on side. We just got to prove loyalty and effectiveness. That's it.
Well, look,
Yeah, we should definitely find out how much the little ones bring, because if they have alliances from the outside, they're going to swoop over, and we've been all so loyal to the Hooks, then they're going to put us down hard.
Look, there's another thing. This Ironborn gang, they're newer, right? They've just come up. They're less experienced, but they've also got less of an ego. I think if we can show to them that we're not to be messed with while helping them, we get a better deal than we've got with the others. We make ourselves pronounced.
Because of them being newer, if they were to win, we'd rise in the ranks faster than we would in the Billhooks.
Yeah, especially if we make ourselves useful.
I can stand by that.
Not a great first showing to break away from your employers, but recognizing strength.
They're not our employers. What you talking about?
Technically, this is their turf, yada yada. It doesn't matter. Eventually, we're gonna split up, regardless.
They're just like leeches.
I just want to break off real quick that we're not an independent faction, okay? We have our allegiances as they are. I know not a lot of you deal with the bigger players, but I do, and we're understood to be under Billhooks. So,
yeah, but that's only by geographical purposes and the taxes that we pay. The moment that Billhooks leave, we're going to be paying taxes to somebody else.
So the Ironborn could be good, but just to be clear, we're not going to be coming into here like, oh, we're such the purest and most loyal people. We're going to be proving that we're willing to shift sides for who's strongest. I'm on board, but I want to be clear, we don't get to act like saints.
That's
No,
fair.
I don't think there's a single person in this room we'd call a saint.
Avora, as this conversation is happening, your spirit stones, which are kind of a conduit for your connection to those otherworldly entities, they start to vibrate right there on your desk, which you would know means that there is something nearby that you have not tapped into before. A new spirit.
Right. Is that spirit in with us, or do I think it's outside the hideout?
With the intensity of the vibration and the fact that they're now even starting to glow a faint blue light, it's probably within the hideout.
All right. So that would then mean I can try and compel the ghost to come out and talk to me?
But absolutely.
Right, how does that work? I gotta...
Have the compel ability.
Yes.
Roll your attune.
Okay.
And you have +1 dice from your ghost mind.
Okay, so basically I have to click on resolve and then add 2 for attune and 1 for ghost mind.
If you just click on attune, the modifiers will pop up before you roll.
If you click attune, little box will come up. It says modifier position and effect.
I say so. That's 1 plus 1. You said
modifiers +1. Position is controlled, and effect is standard.
Okay, let's see. Okay. Did that come out? I did that.
I don't see anything, but you may have to refresh, because I did refresh the server.
Alright.
You all may want to refresh.
Fair point.
Good idea. Yeah, so, what does they look like? They're like crystals?
That's entirely up to you. What does your spiritual focus look like?
Alright, so I would think that for her, the Dagger Isles in this setting, what kind of flavor do they have culturally?
Tropical archipelago with dense jungle growth, now turned dark and twisted from the strange magic of the cataclysm.
Oh,
All right. So I would think that it was probably something she found in a jungle temple, some kind of emblem, or like
one of her ghost
something you would put on a
hunting
necklace.
expeditions.
Yeah, yeah. One of the things that might have turned her more onto the ghost hunting, because she was probably attuned before, but she might have not believed it, or not really, or ignored it, because she was scientific, she was an academic, and that might have been the first real ghost in that temple that she encountered that made her believe.
Absolutely.
Right, now let's try this again. So +1 controlled. All right, let's try this again. Aha. Oh, privately, nice. It's I still had it set on blind GM roll from the other game. All right, what did it say since it was blind, or would you like me to roll again?
So your highest was a 5, which means it's a partial success.
Okay.
So as you call on that aspect of you, that your connection to the other realm, Thelian, with all of your disdain for magic and for this side of the culture of this city, that wave that washes over all of you of just that immediate cold that sends goosebumps down your spine, it hits you, and you see Avora eyes kind of just dull over.
Doing that freaky magic shit again.
Yeah, hair's kind of going a little staticky.
You glance around the room looking for the source. You can see up on the ceiling, just kind of floating around the room, is a young man, maybe late teens, and is just watching all of you intently, vacant expression, mouth slightly agape, but is very intently scanning the room, listening to the conversation.
Does he notice that I see him?
Doesn't seem to.
Right, so you said he's like at the other end of the room?
He's kind of floating along the ceiling, just fully scanning the length of the room, floating around.
So she's just gonna say out loud, "We got a visitor," and she's gonna look and say, "Hey, Lovey, what you doing here? There's something I can help you with."
The eyes
That's the point.
shift over to meet yours. Was told to watch. Am watching.
And what were you told to do once you watched what you wanted to watch?
Find more to watch. Then I'm
Find
free.
more to watch.
So close to
And do
being
you ha-
free.
Do you have to tell them about what you saw?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. And where do you have to go to tell them what you saw?
I don't. You can see, like, the mind, what's left of that human aspect trying to process, like, streets and directions and addresses, but that part of the brain is just gone. It knows where to go, or that part of the spirit is gone. It knows where to go, what to do, and then return to where it came from.
Right, so she's going to try and interrupt that broken loop and just say, "Hey, Lovey, so who are you telling?"
My summoner.
Mm-hmm. Is that a dude or is it a lady?
Lady.
Is she pretty? Had to ask that. All dudes around here.
I'm sorry, are you asking a spirit whether or not they're attracted to a mortal?
Avora is just speaking up to the ceiling at this point. At nothing.
Am I
We
the
don't see nothing.
only one who finds it weird that she's trying to, one, seduce a sailor, and two, if there's a spirit out there, she's trying to figure out whether or not that can be also seduced?
Look, this whole
She
situation.
won't be in a gang if she's pretty, right? You know, because then she not a bruiser. Then she's something else.
I've met
You know her
some-
name?
That ain't exactly true. There's plenty of pretty faces.
There are.
Just because yours ain't one of them, don't mean they don't exist.
Yeah, they're not really bruisers.
When you ask about the name, you can see the spirit immediately starting to float back away from you. The head just shakes. No.
What color is she
tell you.
wearing?
No.
That's fine. What color is she wearing?
Don't see color. Not for a long time.
What does the uniform from the Hooks look like again?
It's kind of that like if you were to go to like a union meeting about this time period, what you would expect a more dressy outfit to look like.
Mm-hmm.
If you were to,
Does she look poor? Does she look poor? Does she like rich? What does she look like? Her clothes.
can't tell you. Can't betray my summoner.
Not even the clothes. I just want to know if she got a pretty dress on, dude.
Yes, pretty dress.
Pretty dress. Mm-hmm. Good. Well taken care of.
The spirit by this point is now floating fully out of the room and away from your hideout.
All right. So,
Is it still here?
can I follow it?
Sure.
All right. I'm just gonna say I'm gonna try and follow it. There is some lady in a pretty dress who sent their ghost here to watch us and to report back. So we might be able to follow the ghost back to wherever that came from.
Yeah. Why don't I save you the trouble and tell you it's one of them Ironborn?
She's just gonna ignore him. She's like, I'm gonna follow that ghost. It's like I don't really what.
I don't think that's quite a good idea. You never
Look,
know with those tricky.
He doesn't have to worry about walls, and you do. You're gonna lose him within the mile. We have to figure out what we're doing here in the real world, right? Yeah, match my eyes. You lucid right now? Come on.
Sucked. But else I would say boom boom when she gone. She going after that ghost.
Why are we chasing after the air? It's not gonna do much.
Because it's that fucking magic shit.
This is why we don't. Why do we even trust this magic shit? For all we know, she could be leading us right into a fucking trap, and we don't.
Thank you. Someone who gets it.
What's our plan? We are going. It sounded like we were aiming to, angle in with the Ironborn, but
I mean, honestly, whatever gets me more famous, more clout is what I'm down for. Realistically, though, I think the Ironborn's going to be the better choice. I think we get more out of it.
Well, if that spirit is going to see the Ironborn, then I say we might as well go pay them a visit, see if their offer's a little prettier than the last one we just got.
Look, if we're going to go see those Ironborn, I've got an idea. I've been cooking up some explosives. Just nothing special, nothing fancy, just a couple of sticks
We're
of
not
dynamite.
suicide bombering this, you know
No,
that,
no,
right?
no.
I like
that's
keeping
it.
everything where it's at.
That's the thing. No, we offer it to them as a gift. Right?
So they can use it on us if we get fucked in a situation.
Well, they've got weapons already.
I
They
think
could kill us if they wanted to.
And giving them more probably ain't a good idea. All right.
But it endears us to them. Imagine how useful they'd think we are if we can supply them with explosives. Would you, if someone came to you and they proved that they were able to supply you with materials and weapons,
I
would
still
you
wouldn't
want to
trust
destroy
them.
All right.
that is
maybe
an
we go-
asset.
That could
Maybe
be a
we go
rigged
see
explosive
first.
right there. That could just be handing somebody a trap.
Well, that's why they have you. There's ways to measure this stuff. Have us there when they open the box.
All
when
of
they
yous,
look
all
through
of yous. Okay, come on. Let's focus up here for a second. Let me tell you what's gonna happen. We're gonna get the explosives, right? I'm gonna bring all the fucking plans together. We're gonna get all the ghosty explosive nonsense. You know, all the things you're gonna do. We knock out the Bill Hook's supply of conventional explosives, either through blowing them up ourselves or you know, popping them over to the Ironborn. We're getting good either way. It's just a matter of figuring out where they're keeping the stuff and handling it ourselves. And that should be pretty easy. They got enough. They're well established here. There's got to be someone they've pissed off in the local neighborhood and knows a little bit too much. So we go
asking around for some, you know, see what some of our fellow territory people are thinking about.
Fantastic. Meanwhile, we could have, you know, Spook over here go and see if there's any.
Spook is fucking gone.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Avora left.
Spook over here.
Solid
Just-
quarter kilometer away from us by now. So I mean,
Well, when she inevitably comes back and tells us that it was the Ironborn who was spying on us, we can let her know that we were quite involved in getting them on board here.
if she gets kidnapped and dead, does that mean more profits for the rest of us?
You know, that means a four-way split, but I would prefer if we kept someone who was more experienced with the preternatural and such. So it might be worth looking into her whereabouts eventually. You know what? I might go look into that, make sure everything's okay. So someone starts asking around, see what we can scrounge out about information about a munitions stockpile, and then we hit it. Easy as that. They're gonna be all armored up anyway. We can go pretend like we're gonna go give ourselves all suited up for that thing, and meanwhile we just sabotage the whole joint.
All right, but I'm not doing any asking. I've got no people skills.
I didn't ask
fine.
you to ask
It's-
people. I said the general community we have here, this wonderful establishment we've built.
It's fine, I can do that, but I will require Sparks and more for technical terms on what we're looking for with weapons and shit. I can do the talking, and you just leave that to me. It's just more of the specific know-hows that I'm a little less fresh on.
And I can go after her to make sure she doesn't hurt herself.
We'll jump over to any of you that want to start chasing after Avora, and we'll actually jump to Avora. As you've been following this spirit, you have to kind of cut through some alleys, past some other buildings in the area, as it has no problem just going through walls, but does eventually lead to one of the smaller ship docks in the area. One typically used for smaller fishing vessels and smaller transportation ships, things like that. Small, like 5 to 10 person vessels. And there's a point where it disappears into, looks like probably a warehouse. But you can see out front are a handful of individuals just sitting, having just a quiet conversation, doing their best to look inconspicuous. But you can see each of them, in turn, their eyes just scanning the streets, and then returning to their conversation.
But can I tell who they belong to?
They just have plain clothes, no uniform or anything. They're just sitting there.
Mm-hmm. Would I know anything about this part of the docks, or who these ships belong to?
The dock itself belongs to the district, the Billhooks, as does most of the ports in or out. The bridges are all controlled by the Billhooks because control. But other than that, there's nothing special about it.
All right, so she wants to stop far enough away that they're not even noticing her, and just observe for a while.
Okay. Do you want to make a skill check for that?
All right, what skill are we looking at?
That's up to you and how you want to handle being stealthy.
Hmm.
I see that you have a point in Prowl, which would definitely work.
Yeah, and there's Survey would, but if I would be, yeah, let's go with Prowl.
Go for it.
All right. No modifier.
No modifier. You're in probably a risky position for standard effect.
Okay. All right.
Ooh, very nice.
I do it.
Yeah. So how do you... What is your mode of stealth? How are you hanging around? Paint the scene for us.
Well, I'm thinking is she's her name is Feathers because she's a pretty slight and quiet person as long as she doesn't open her mouth, and she uses like one of these scarves to just cover up and have nothing shiny going on, and then she'll probably find a rooftop close by so she can watch. Snuck up to a chimney or something.
By this point, are the rest of you following? Did anyone stay back in the hideout?
I stood back.
Wasn't...
I'm with Sparks over there.
Yeah, we're staying back. Wasn't Galahad going to?
I know
going
Galahad
Yeah,
I was going after Evora.
Yeah, I'm also heading out.
Galahad and Eddie. Pair of you step out into the street. Yeah, Evora left a bit ago. What are you guys doing?
I got myself a loyal hunting dog, and I've trained him to everybody's scent. I'm just gonna let him do his freaking job. Point a lethal fucking way.
Come on, Pointer, let's go.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, come on. I pull out a little vial I have of everyone's small skin sample, and it's just
Not
get
gonna
him
lie,
hooked
that's
on that.
pretty creepy.
You knew what you signed up for when you wanted an actual hunting, Severos tracking hound.
Yeah, still creeps me out.
And you're allowed to be creeped out. You're not allowed to fucking question about it. Maybe stow the attitude too.
Whoa,
Come on.
I do what I want, all right?
I wave it
Sniffs
under
the
his
scent
nose.
and immediately turns
Being very stealthy.
and just
Yeah, but your body ain't.
takes off down the street, letting out just the lowest of woof as he goes. And you get about 3 blocks down, going through alleys, going past other businesses, other mostly empty buildings. This part of the district, there's quite a few vacant buildings. But eventually, you are also brought to this small dock. Where out front you see just a handful of gentlemen just talking. No one really seems to be... Seems like business as usual. Pretty empty.
All right. Well, somewhere around here. Check the rooftops or something. I don't even know.
I've already...
Well, they know my preferences.
You would
Don't have
also...
to be cold if you can find a warm chimney, right?
You'd also
Yeah, can
hear
I-
them coming down the street.
Yeah, I'm just gonna peruse the area and see if any passerbys have seen somebody just kind of looking up in the air and see if we can use them to track her.
Especially since your tracking hound does stop at a specific building and then does that circle pattern. It wouldn't take much to look for all of Evora's usual hiding places on the rooftop and you catch the edge of just a flowing cloak. They're right over the edge of a rooftop.
God just points.
Right, you better be quiet.
Oh, what'd you find?
So he's gonna, quietly jump down and just point at the area that, Ghost went in there. Just trying to
Oh.
figure out.
So you don't know anything.
Why'd you bring his ass here?
Fantastic. Well, I'm the one with the dog. Hey, Pointer, with me. And I go walk up to these fine gentlemen.
As soon as it is clear you're headed their direction, the conversation cuts. They all get to their feet, and they're just facing you. One of them just arms crossed, leaning back against the warehouse, calls out to you when you're close enough. Dock's closed for today. Come back tomorrow.
I'm not interested in a shipping business. I was curious if you might be with one of them iron bones. We gotta talk to your leadership, or at least whoever's in charge of this little group is.
The other two see their hands just kind of reach back, like, to their belts behind their cloaks, probably reaching for some weapon. Well, the one that had his arms folded looks at you. Yeah? What makes you think there's any of those traitors hanging out here?
Because you're on a dock?
Anyone can be on a dock?
Well, it was worth a shot. You mean to tell me you're all, unlawful abiding billhooks here? Because, I mean, the ghost you sent through here didn't seem to really indicate that at all.
You see just glances exchanged between them. Alright. And what do you want with, any Ironborns if they happen to be here?
Well, maybe I want to offer you all a deal. Maybe we're gathering some information might be of interest to you. Maybe we're gonna pull off a little scheme we thought you should be notified of that you don't even have to support with your own two hands. It could just benefit you out of the kindness of my own heart.
Yeah, Avora is probably now stumping over like, it's just gonna try and sway them and say, the lady is expecting us. She sent the ghost for us.
Okay, yeah. Make a skill check there. And Eddie, if you want to assist, you can take a point of stress and give her an extra die.
Yeah, why not?
One extra die, it's still risky but standard.
I would say this is probably risky with limited.
Alright.
Rolls are so good.
I'm being lucky. Partial success.
Their hands fall back to their sides, not drawing out their weapon. And it's just you two then, in the mutt.
Well, we got a third one back there, but we weren't quite sure if that would make you nervous.
Galahad will walk up eventually, knowing that he's alone in the alleyway now.
Yeah.
Alright.
Don't know if you wanted our bruiser in there too.
You know what? You two, pointing to Eddie and Avora. Why don't you go on in and, we'll get to know your friend here, your, bruiser, a little better.
Galahad just smiles and it's like, don't worry, I'll keep him some good company.
Yeah, make sure you don't break him up too bad.
Yeah, and no betting, okay? No betting. Because if you take all their money, they'll be grouchy later. No betting.
Yeah, of course. No betting at all.
And she
Not
slips
at all.
inside.
Alright. So stepping inside, it's pretty dark, save for a handful of very lowly lit lanterns filling the fairly large room. There's a handful of just like two-person rowboats that are currently up out of the water and just suspended. That sound of occasional crashing waves hitting wood is almost rhythmic in here. Inside, there's another, what you can see at least, 4 of these plainclothes, bruiser type individuals,
Bless you. Gesundheit.
as well as an older woman. Was probably just raven black hair, is now mixed with strands of silver, wearing a very clean, very vibrant violet dress.
Oh, woman after my own heart.
As you
So, yeah, she will
go ahead.
walk straight over to her and said, "Well, here we are. You certainly send a nice young one to fetch us."
No. A nice young one? Jesus, what's
A
wrong
nice,
with you?
a nice young ghost. I mean, you know, I don't always need to see the old disgusting ones, right?
You hit on dead people now? Christ, keep it in your pants for 5 seconds. We got
Have
your
you
message.
ever seen how disgusting they look when their intestines hang out?
No, believe it or
No?
not, I have not. That's why we keep you on pay.
Yeah, that's why you gotta shut up. You have no clue what you're talking about. It's like
I know.
we're totally professional here. Do you see how professional we are?
You see her
Yeah.
just crack the smallest of smiles.
See what I have to work with here?
Yeah, I'm not the one who's trying to
Men.
fuck a ghost.
Not what this was about, dude.
Sounded
Maybe you
like
should
it
get your
was.
head out of the gutter.
Oh,
I can
well, that's
only,
exactly what we're here to talk about, isn't it?
only assume that you haven't stumbled upon us for no reason. What can I do for you?
Know me? I would like to know why you send a ghost to you know our humble abode to see, I don't know,
It was not
see what color dress I'm wearing.
specified for you. We tap into the spirits in the area, use them as scouts. They report back what they find.
Well, very very well. For me, that was like a summon.
You are
Yes, Ita.
attuned to the spiritual arts, then.
No, I'm just bullshitting you. Yes, I am.
And a sense of humor. Lovely.
You have to have it, else you don't get to hang with the people that I hang with. So, how can we help you?
Well, that entirely depends. Your, overlords. Billhooks. How do you feel about them?
This is business. Feelings don't matter in this.
Yeah. So let's just cut the cut. You know, let's cut through the bullshit.
Kitty have no tail.
He has no tail.
Let's be
So
let's be real clear about what we're gonna do here. We're not here to give you a warning or anything about it from our bosses or something like that. We're here to let you know we're gonna blow up a munitions depot, and we hope that's enough to
When?
prove to you our general loyalty.
Oh,
It's
really?
like, what?
Yeah, I'm
When
sorry.
did you decide that?
We decided when you were too busy chasing undead tail.
And
Again, see what I have to work with here. Mhm.
Yeah, see what I have to work with. You send one little mildly looking good spirit, and she comes running. Anyway,
what would this explosive mission of yours cost us?
oh gosh, I'd hope just a bit of spot in your kindness of your heart. Just a
Right.
remembrance once you take over the district, because you're not getting fired upon from every single rooftop here, that maybe our little group of comedians did right by you.
Would simply do this for nothing, for a possible future alliance. Nothing more.
Well, no, I want a blank check to take out the rest of the groups around me and incorporate their territory. I want some expansional promises.
Right.
But there are some of our group who are a bit more, shall we say, stupid and kind. So, yes, partially out of kindness for our own hearts. But with the promises of being allowed to maybe off some unfortunate people who are probably going to try to betray you anyways.
Eddie, I'll let you make a check for that.
Sure. Just a kind of
Whatever
maybe.
skill you feel fits this check.
I would love
To
to make
sit
an
on
argument.
for Avora. She would probably just sit down, grab in her little pocket, and start eating some biscuits. Like, you got this.
I would love to make this kind of a dictation of the terms that are going to occur and have it be a command roll.
Absolutely. Go for it.
Still risky and standard.
Avora, if you would like to offer aid, you can take a point of stress and give an extra die.
Okay, I can do that, even though he's a butthole.
But a butthole. My
Yep.
good.
You must understand. You
An
have
ass would be smarter.
You have arrived at our place of planning. You have come bearing a gift that we could only dream of getting, and simply laid it at our feet. You must understand how that sounds.
Like with some kind of weak little organization, sure, but do you know where the Munitions Depot is?
You do not?
Daddy,
Fantastic. Seems like we have a bit more leverage than you might have thought we did.
Then why don't we make this deal? If we hear a commotion and see a plume of smoke within the next few days, we'll know that you were being honest. That you really do wish your own piece of the pie here. And we'll know that we can work together. Until then, I don't think we ever had this meeting. I've never seen you, and you've never seen me.
I don't even know who you are. Convenient for
course.
all of us, isn't it?
I would like to know who your tailor is, though.
Oh, come off it. You can't hit on everybody you fucking see.
Just take the hound and go.
If you do this, and you need to call on me again, ask around for Cascabel.
Cascabel? Say that again. You broke up in the middle.
Yeah, Cascabel. I typed it out in the Discord.
There's an
Okay.
H in there somewhere, right? No.
No, but there's an extra E, so you know it's for real.
Oh, no, then you know it's fancy.
Yeah, we'll think about it, of course, because we'll have to think about it and pull out some memory we don't have.
I wish you luck. I really do.
It's all we ever need before,
Well-
isn't that right?
Nice to never meet you before. She'll turn around and just like pet the dog, the hound, and be
No,
like,
he's a service animal. Come on.
You see,
you
Doesn't
did
do
so
well.
amazing.
as you were
No,
having
don't
this
ruin it now.
conversation, one of the guards in there was just sneaking him pieces of turkey.
It's a very Pointer. It's very accurate. It is kind of like a Doberman, pointer dog. Very very slight, almost greyhound build, with piercing black eyes. Kind of a very almost. It almost seems like it was like drawn on stilts, kind of thing.
Beautiful. Galahad, how are you doing out here with the other guards?
Totally wasn't gambling at all.
Not at all.
No.
Why don't you make
Although
a
I
skill
do
check
have some
for me?
Which one?
You tell me.
Do-
What fits your gambling?
I'm just an overbearing figure. I am the bruiser of the group, and I'm at least half a foot taller than these gentlemen in front of me. They really don't want to lose to me, so I'm gonna intimidate them a little bit and kind of just be up in their face while we're gambling. using command. That's
And,
possible.
Heck yeah. And remember, if at any point you are going to make a skill check and you're not comfortable with the amount of points you have and you would like an extra dice, you can ask for a devil deal, and I'll give you an extra dice, but it will come with a price. Or devil's bargain.
I think Devil's Deal is what it was. Either way, I'm gonna skip out on that one. It's a risky position, standard.
I would not call this risky.
Okay.
In fact, I'll put it at controlled. You're a seasoned gambler.
Ooh. That's right. I mean, totally never gambled before. Not a problem. It's standard.
Yep.
Let's go.
Partial success.
Take what I can get.
As your companions come strolling out, they see you and the 3 other guards, all with makeshift chips set down, cards out.
Do you need Daddy to turn on a story
I'm gonna
and some music? You
finish
can't-
that till she gets back. Eddie, you come out seeing Galahad mid-hand with a nice stack of chips out in front of him.
Oh, I see you're working real hard, huh?
I'm just making us some money. It's fine for our future endeavors.
Yeah, everyone else here having a lot of fun.
Yeah, we have a lot of fun, guys. Sanders looks at him.
One of the one that had been like arms crossed with the, that attempted like dominating position, just throws the hand down, looks up at you. So what? We on the same side now? What's going on?
Yeah, looks at Turk and Navarro. How'd
You
it go?
Everything has worked out how they worked out, and tell you what, if you see any particular explosives or you don't get shot by someone in the next coming days, you can come thank us later. We'll be at the bar.
Well, I think that's enough games for us, guys. And he'll kind of pull up what he's won. Until the next round, boys.
Get you next time.
Yeah, sure you will.
And you can actually add
I'm rich.
a point of coin.
I'm so rich.
The 3 of you recollect and start heading back. We'll jump to Finn and Thelion. 2 of you, I
He
believe.
was totally gonna fuck that ghost rat. It was just me who was thinking of that.
I've got no fucking idea. It's supernatural shit. I've never understood it. It's stupid. That's what. It is.
Can ghosts even finish, or is that getting ectoplasm everywhere?
Why do you think I would know?
Is this conversation
Just-
happening while you're working on explosives?
Yeah.
I'll tuck you in. Come on.
I legit.
No, baby, I need you to go back to bed.
I'm just saying. I think that would be quite the mess. Do you think there's a spiritual cleanup crew by the time it's done?
What the fuck are you talking about? What?
Maybe it's like the scene. Like there's a pottery. You're like a pottery thing, and then and then you start like fucking making a pot, and then all of a sudden a ghost comes like right behind you, and some music starts playing,
All right.
and then you do some freaky shit with the pot.
All right. Listen. I want you to save all these questions, all these ideas. Wait till Feathers gets back, and then ask her, because I've got no fucking idea what ghost cum is like. All right, I've got no experience with it. This whole concept of ghosts is quite absurd. So this whole area of knowledge is outside of mine. Save it for someone who sees ghosts and actually has an interest in what their sexual adventures are like. All right.
Well, I think we were about to find out if the spirit didn't leave, so I feel like that just brought up some questions.
With
So.
Do you
your
think the ghost was going to come on us? Is that what you're thinking?
with your discussion of
No.
spiritual intercourse, Delian, why don't you make a check for me for your explosives?
Sure. Could I use Tinker?
Absolutely. And Finn, if you want to assist, you can take a point of stress.
How do I trust you? I'm too busy thinking about exactly what we're gonna be doing after this.
Yep. Now I've got an ability called an Artificer. When you invent or craft a creation with Spark craft features, you take +1 result level to your roll.
Yep.
So would that count for this?
Yes. So the +1 result is just going to make your end result better. It's basically adding a successful die roll already to you.
Yeah.
So yeah, roll it up.
So position and effect. What are those?
I mean, you are a very talented tinker. I'd say you're probably in a controlled position with standard effect.
Okay. Oh,
Look
7.
at
Yay!
With your highest being a 6, that is a success. Why don't you give us a rundown on your explosive?
So as they're having this philosophical discussion on the nature of genitals, he is filling small cuts of pipe with measures of gunpowder and sand, as well as sealing with wicks. Putting wicks in there and then sealing with caps that he welds shut. And he's just doing that with just creating an array of pipe bombs with pretty long wicks. Like the wicks on these things are actually quite long because it's meant to be adjustable for how long you need to cut them.
Okay.
In fact, I'd say they're marked for duration. The wicks are marked for what duration you need.
You also know that Feathers has a nice stockpile of anti-spirit material, which could certainly dip into that stockpile, maybe add some to the explosives.
Yeah. I'll probably like. I don't want to dig in too much because I don't want Feathers to yell at me. So we'll do maybe a fifth of the explosives will be spiritized.
Okay. And as you're finishing up your work, finishing or putting a pause on whatever philosophical conversation is happening, you hear the others returning, or your hideout door is swung open, and the rest of you step in.
I'm just saying, right? Like, I feel like it's gonna get everywhere, and then you're gonna need like
I
a
don't
bucket.
know. Let me weld. This thing is full of explosives.
So I take it nothing got done here.
That's not true. We've got a lot done.
I've got a whole crate of explosives ready. All right.
Do we know where the munitions depot is to blow the thing up?
I was just about to head out.
Oh, you were just about to head out. You weren't busy asking me about Ghost Come.
No,
Ghost what?
jeez, you and all yous need to see somebody about this, but don't talk to me about it.
What was I doing? I was trying to work. He was asking me questions.
I told you both to go look for the explosives depot.
I was just
going
going to explosives.
We were just gonna go talk to the Ironborn about the whole setup because I knew that's where the freaking ghosts would go because I can read a goddamn room. And I come back here and you're still talking about ghosts come? What's going on?
I wasn't. I was asking what he was asking me.
It sounds like you were, even by proxy, talking about ghosts come. So
Proxy? By proxy, I'm a victim here. I've been trying to work for the past however long you've been gone, and this bugger has been going on and on about whether ghosts can have sex or not.
All right, nobody.
I'm
get the fuck
slowly
out of
like
here.
creeping out of the fucking room.
You go, get out of here, go.
Skedaddle.
All right. So nobody. I'll
Yeah.
let you make a skill check here. For
Mhm.
whatever it is that you are doing, whatever your means would be to track down where you would find something like an ammunition depot.
Well, first, I want to put on a disguise, just so, because that's what I normally do. I have like a public persona and then like a gang persona. So
Okay.
we're gonna look a little, a little bit more rugged and worn down a little bit, and then I feel like I would have some sort of context that would get us close to at least figure out where it was. Like some small workers, who have to just move various objects around the city.
Okay.
So I'm gonna go seek them out.
Absolutely.
Sherlock
this is
Holmes.
Yeah. If
His
Sherlock
usuals,
Holmes
right?
was
It's regulars, sorry. Baker Street regulars, right?
Irregulars.
Irregulars, there you go.
So what do I roll for this? Resolve?
That's up to you. What skill
Or
do you want to use for it?
I'm gonna use yeah, I'm gonna use consort because I had to
Okay.
talk with them.
Yeah. I would say that you're probably in a pretty controlled position.
Okay.
With standard effect.
Partial success. All right, I'll take that. Foundry hates me, so I'm glad these aren't like 2 1s in a row. Again.
That will add a single fortune die to the start of your mission. You don't have the exact position, but you have a good idea. Good enough that you'll confident returning to the others with.
All right.
So, could Avora try and send some of her ghost friends out to see if they can find clues
Sure.
about where the ammunitions
Go for
depot
Depot.
it.
would be?
Go for it.
All right. So, which would be a tune, right? Since it's ghost.
Yep.
Right. So a tune controlled. Standard.
And
And +1 from my focus.
I'm gonna call this risky, because this is kind of outside of the normal parameters of asking what spirits can do. But we'll call it risky and standard.
Okay. And +1 from my focus.
From your ghost mind.
Yes.
Yeah, between you and nobody, you're still getting a single die to your fortune roll at the start of the mission. It's not an exact location, but it's probably good enough.
Like some probably the ghost saw something, but they're not 100% sure if that was actually what I was looking for.
They can only do so much.
Maybe it was an older ghost. Maybe it was an older ghost and they didn't understand what that is. Or maybe it was a child ghost and they don't understand what it is.
If they got lost along the way, you're getting mixed information.
Yep.
Anyone else? Any last pre-mission preparations?
Maybe get some kind of rundown on the Ironborns, like who are like their sergeant at arms, who are the well-known members of the gang.
Okay. Yeah. Make a roll for that.
I will survey the docks,
Okay.
or maybe
Yeah. The coming and going of at least the one position. Do you know they have a
Nope.
foothold?
I surveyed the wrong docks, and I'm surveying the billhooks instead.
Yeah, I mean, since they did have people just show up where they've been hiding out, going back to survey that place, find it completely empty.
And you did say Feathers had stuff that could bar spirits. So she would probably take some of that with her, just to make sure if there is any spirits that are not on our sides, we can, disperse them.
I would like to take a general look around the area to figure out where these battle lines are forming. Use a survey roll to figure out, where just kind of get a feel for where the billhooks and the Ironborn are kind of putting their stakes in the ground, and where these street skirmishes are really going to start.
Absolutely, go for it.
Oh, come. This kid's just going to be everywhere.
Yeah, I mean, at the moment, you know that the billhooks are just kind of getting a general defense set up. The actual battle lines, where the fights are going to take place, is probably going to be chosen by the Ironborn. They're going to go wherever they feel they can hit things the hardest. With that, we will jump to the engagement roll. And this is the point where you'll choose how heavy you want to go in.
Okay.
You have light, normal, and heavy. All of you should be 3, 5, 6, respectively, except for Galahad, who is pack mule.
5, 7, 8. Galahad's he's gonna go in heavy.
So you
He's
are
ready for
just
a fight.
loaded to bear.
Yep.
Okay.
Brass knuckles. I got everything I can ever need.
What's everyone else doing?
Going in normal.
Normal? Okay.
I got pistols, a rifle, and pointers, so.
Okay. Anyone else?
Going in a light load,
Light?
take it carefully.
Gotcha. You could blend in pretty easily if you need to.
Mm-hmm.
Thelian, Bora?
I'm wondering because Thelian likes to have everything on him. He's like one of those always prepared for everything kind of people. Probably partially neurotic because of it, but he wouldn't be carrying too much. I'd probably say we'll go middle of the road. We'll go normal.
Okay. Yeah. And Avora?
She would probably go in light, just with some hidden weapons, so people underestimate her.
Perfect. Now we get to the engagement roll. So, I'll actually ask you guys, what kind of engagement is this? Would you say it's assault, where you're planning on doing violence to the target, deception, where you're trying to lure, trick, or manipulate, or stealth, trying to trespass to a place unseen?
I'd say we go deception.
Well,
Deception, stealth,
Stealth.
stealth.
I'd argue it's a stealth mission since we're trying to covertly blow up a munitions depot.
I'll say stealth as
Safe.
well.
I see
Oh,
stealth.
I have nothing for deception.
Okay.
Can't
I
lie.
can be kind of stealthy.
So now we go to the engagement roll. This determines your footing at the start of the mission, how well you're already positioned right off the bat. So you get 1 dice immediately just for pure luck. Then I have 4 questions here. Is this operation particularly bold or daring? Say.
I think it would be a bit bold because
Yeah.
we are rebelling
they
after
are-
all.
And they are the strongest faction as far as we know.
but an extra dice for it being bold and daring. Does your plan expose a particular vulnerability to your target?
Yes,
Yeah, it does.
it will absolutely take out their munitions for the coming conflict.
3 dice. Do you have any friends or contacts that could provide aid or insight for this operation?
We've
Probably
made
ghosts.
no. We've made light
But they
friends.
killed people in there.
Yeah, but ghosts don't count.
I had some
Maybe-
They
nearby
tell us what you
contacts.
see there. There would
Yeah.
be spies.
So if I were to use the flashback, Galahad is a well-known. He's well-known in the boxing rings and then all the underground fight scenes. Maybe he knows met some of the guards during one of his last matches, and they won money on Galahad's last fight.
All right, yeah. I'll consider that some potential aid or contacts you guys could have, bringing it to 4 dice. So, go ahead and roll that. Absolutely. It is a success, which I don't know why it says... Oh, that because that was Eddie's roll.
No, we
6.
failed on the amazing rolls.
Which means
We
you're
rolled
starting
too high!
in a positive position. Your
Right.
your information was good. The place where they said that they're starting to stockpile weapons and ammo, turns out they were right.
Thanks, Frankie.
From this point, I am going to start a clock.
Countdown.
Don't put that kind of pressure on me.
Which will name this detection. Because you are starting in such a good position. Put this at 8 pieces.
Alright, guys, we're seen. We could just, I guess we're screwed. Fully detected now.
There you go.
Yep, fucking game over.
Yeah.
Alright.
You were
Right.
too good.
So, sneaking in, or stealth mission. You pop into the warehouse. You've seen a handful of guards passing by. Rest of the mission, direction you head, is up to you.
And we actually have the teamwork that's set up of who is where in the formation, so that way we would.
Absolutely.
So as long as we follow the plan, we would all get a +1, right?
I already gave you the +1.
Oh, for the setup.
Yep.
Never mind then.
Do you want to go over the plan right now? Because I can tell you the plan right now.
What's the
said-
plan? I need a refresher.
I set up across the street. I got a good angle from a derelict building up there because I got to make sure everything around there is not full. No one wants to be across the street from a potentially explosive endeavor. You gladly edge your way in with the rest of them. Oh, we're just here to, pick up some things because we're very loyal to Hammond, whatever you fucking gotta say. Then you start putting boxes, little treats in every single barrel you can find. Make sure you don't put it in all the actual supply stuff. Make sure you put it in anything that goes boom. Okay, I trust you to identify that. They might be keeping upstairs or in the basement where it's dry, wherever. Either way, I'm gonna need you to be setting up. I'm gonna need you to take Pointer in there with you because he can alert me to where you are in the building, and I can make the shot in case you need someone taken care of. Let's. He's got cue cards.
Oh, does he?
Oh wait, Pointer.
Immediately up on your heels, seated and just looking up at you.
Yeah, he'll I give him like a particular whistle, and he pulls out like a card that says "Move your asses."
All right. So when we go in, we split up. 2 down, 2 up.
Okay.
Yes, we can.
Whoever's going upstairs, we might have window access, so make sure you bring the dog.
Well, I guess it's just a matter of where the actual explosive barrels are.
If you bring the whole building down, it won't really matter, but I prefer it to be a controlled system. And I prefer not to have to leave my spot, you understand?
Of course.
Do we actually have somebody who's our grifter, who's very good at deception?
Ah,
No, nobody matches that description. Weird.
It's like I only got one in Sway.
I've got nothing. I've got nothing down there.
I
So-
have a lot. I got 1 in command, 2 in consort, 2 in sway. It
okay.
sucks that we don't know anyone who's like a spy or anything who's really good at lying off their ass.
see-
You know,
I
I
said
don't
that.
know
Are
who
you in
that is.
charge? You in charge?
I
Oh,
said that nobody
we go.
matches that description.
Nobody matches
No.
that.
Oh, you.
Easy there, calling me a bitch.
I
Calm
didn't
down
even
there,
catch
dude.
that one. God, this is what I
You
get.
got
for doing
us.
a character that.
This is how you lose our
Ah.
trust, okay?
All right. So, if I understand this correctly, Moonlight, you're positioned up like on an adjacent roof,
Yes.
and you're, I assume, taking a rifle, so you can mark that off of your carrying weight.
Mm-hmm.
So the rest of you, what you doing?
Galahad's gonna put on some heavy armor. Just in
Heavy
case.
armor.
I am gonna go look for some explosive barrels.
So probably gonna need a way inside. There are patrols moving around the building. How you getting in?
I mean,
Would-
nobody
would
was
it be-
supposed to talk us in, right?
Wouldn't it be a shame if the guards mysteriously lost their keys?
Could be. Would you care to do
Yeah,
a
really.
flashback?
Yeah, sure. While trying to scout out the location, nobody found out the general area, and knowing nobody, he has quite sticky fingers, and pretending to be like an old beggar man, accidentally bumped into them, pickpocketing their set of keys, and replacing it with what appears to be a really mediocre version of a fake set, where it's like you'd actually have to like deeply like look at it to like realize, oh shit, this is wrong.
Okay.
Like there's like 1 or 2 extra keys that shouldn't be there.
I will.
Yeah.
We'll say that this is a 2-stress flashback, and you
Alright,
can make
I'll
a skill
take it.
check for it.
Oh boy, oh. 2 stress. I feel like this would be a prowl.
Sure. Go for it.
All
And
right.
of course,
so this
before you
is
roll,
ri-
if you would like a devil deal,
Not yet.
Okay.
All right. So this is risky and standard, or
yeah.
would you say again?
we'll say
Okay.
risky and great. You have keys, you are set.
I'm so tempted to take that devil deal. I'm not gonna lie.
You have 1 dice right now.
True. I could really do it the second. All right. I'll take the deal with the devil.
Well, I'll give you this scenario.
We gotta make this pretty interesting.
After I give it to you, you can choose to take it or leave.
Okay.
I will give you an extra die,
Mhm.
but your particular brand of crafting, or that little signature that every craftsman leaves on their finished product, it's there on those keys. Some deep inspection is probably going to lead back to you.
That's fine.
Okay.
I'll just shoot him.
Then go ahead and roll 2 dice.
Yay. Add 1 die.
Yep.
Oh boy. Try to see if I have anything in my abilities that would help. Of course I don't. Alright, let's do it. Oh, thank God.
Partial success.
I'll take a partial success.
You manage to bump into him and get the switch off. But in that moment of focusing on getting the key and that transfer happening successfully, the guards do catch a pretty good glimpse of your... I'm going to mark off one sliver of the protection clock. But you have your keys.
Well, that's got us our way in.
Are you looking for any particular entrance? Just for like something that leads to a back alley, or are you just going in the front doors?
Is there a way that we could track guard patrol movement, so when I know they're going to be at the front end, we can sneak through the back door?
You could nominate someone to do that.
And you guys good at looking at shit?
I mean, don't we have somebody on a roof right over there
We
with a
do.
rifle?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Do we have any way of contacting him? I feel like we're on the ground.
Turk,
are
you're,
we
I think you're
staying
muted.
I have a dog who's with you that has cue cards that responds to my whistle. He's very well trained.
But to talk to
The
you,
cue cards are the best.
I look right in the dog's face. I need you to tell your master something, alright? He needs to track the guard movements so I can figure out when the optimal time is to snake in the back. You understand me?
He's gonna go back to the cue card and pull out after you hear a slight whistle. Just do your damn job.
Weirdly, that one seems way more used than the others.
Yeah, no, it's got some pretty excessive
Like
slobber
wear and
marks on it.
tear, right? Yeah.
I feel like I've seen this one before.
Um,
This one reads, "I'm an asshole."
It goes and grabs that one back.
Moonlight, if you want to keep an eye out, get a feel for the patrol, like timing and whatnot, make a check.
I would love to. I'll take a survey of the grounds.
Heck yeah.
6, a
Nice.
success.
Done. Yeah. With that, with your eye in the sky, that in that limited communication you have with the dog and the party, you have a pretty good idea of time and spacing you have between each.
And at the appropriate moment, he'll fire off send off a series of whistles to a 2-pointer, and it'll pull out a now.
So, you have like doors leading into the back alley. You have doors that were right there in the front of the building that you could slip into. Where are you going in?
Oh. And we said we're going in the back when the guards are towards the front, right?
Mhm.
Is that what we said?
Perfect.
Yeah, we're gonna try and go in the back.
4 of your companions slip inside, and from your elevated position on the nearby buildings, you can see in through windows at the top of the warehouse. You have a view of inside, but it's not a great view, and there's a lot of places where your vision is blocked. Moonlight.
Can Avora use Attune and get one of her ghost friends to double check, like rooms before they go in them?
Yeah.
Like see if there's people there, or which rooms have people in them.
Make an tune check to see what spirits are nearby.
All right, let's see what we got.
Or I assume you want to make it a
Yes, which would be +1. Is it still risky?
Especially considering where you are, I would say it's risky.
All right. Effect is still standard.
Standard.
All right.
Yeah. There's a handful of spirits that just float through this part of the city, content to simply exist here, not in any hurry to move on. There's an old worker that probably worked in this warehouse or part of the collapse of the working force. But he floats up to you, that vacant expression, head kind of tilted off to the side. Yes.
Yes, I could use your help, dear sir. Could you take a peek around and see where there's living people in this building and let me know?
The head just kind of slumps over, and it turns and just floats off through the wall.
All right, let's give it a minute. It will let us know where the actual alive people are in this building.
Comes back and gives you a rundown as good as it can. To the best of its knowledge, there's a little over a dozen people here in the building. They seem to be scattered out pretty well. There is a main office where at least 4 or 5 of them seem to be sitting and staying. The rest are kind of traveling throughout the warehouse.
So patrols and some rooms. All right, so she wants to note the rooms where people are sitting. We're going to stay away from them for now.
Okay.
And then did the ghost mention if there's any patterns to the movement, or are they just randomly moving?
Does not seem enough in the moment to be able to determine patterns. Counted bodies and get back to you.
Right. How many moving targets
At least 8.
out of the 12? At least 8?
Yeah.
All right, so 8 of the people in here are moving about the building. Did he notice any barrels?
There's just a pause, and then everywhere.
Oh, great. All right, so we gotta watch out. There's like 8 people moving around in this building, and yeah. Where's the closest person?
The head just swivels around back towards like the main part of the building as you all came in through a back door, came in what looks like kind of a coat room. And it just looks towards the center of the building. The hand reaches up and trails around, back. Not quite giving you a general direction of where might be safe, but
Yeah.
it's kind of a dumb ghost.
Yeah. All right. So we have a general idea of where it's safe. We have a general idea of where the people are. So how about we head for the general direction of where it's safe, and if we're heading towards a place where Eddie can see people, he's gonna let us know, because he will get the hound to show us a card that we're idiots.
Elian, could you just mark off one of your load for your explosives?
Yeah. Explosives. I can't see. There's a bandolier, which says it can carry a bunch of different things. I could mark off that. That's one.
If you want to just add
load.
just a random thing worth 1 bulk, that would be.
Okay, an item.
Just so you know you've got at least one of your security built.
How do I mark off a random item?
Click the loadout button and then just go and like add a lantern or something.
Ah. Okay. I'm not on light. I'm on. No.
So, with nobody, Knuckles, Sparks, your information in hand, your Overwatch set. What are the 3 of you doing?
Well, I suppose we should. Oh, who's in the lead?
I'll take
I've
the
got-
lead.
Yeah.
Go for it.
I'll
Yeah.
protect the man with the explosives, I think, is the best idea.
Thank you.
Well, if we stay here just sitting crouching here, then we're going to be sitting ducks at this point. So let's start getting a move on.
Yeah,
Let's
just gonna
see.
make sure that everybody knows which direction was the things that the ghost says and share that.
Yeah, and then I'll keep an eye on Pointer, make sure he's with us.
As we're sneaking through, kind of pull open my vest a little bit, reach in, flask, just come to nerves.
Okay. Then Finn, as you were elected to lead this, you could open the door just a hair, now getting a clear view of the interior of the warehouse. There are crates stacked up near the center, a good 6 to 7 feet tall. You can see barrels spread around the room, other crates kind of shifted and off to the side, some of them open and empty, others open, and you can see firearms, you can see clubs, hammers, blades, all sorts of weapons.
Do I see any like blatant guards like close to us in particular?
Outside of this door, you are now catching just the very hushed conversation of a pair of guards, and you recognize the sound of a card being laid on a wooden table, and the sound of chips being, shuffled across said table. Sounds like they're probably in just the middle of a friendly or non-friendly card game.
Stakes up.
Well, if that's the case, I say we start getting a move on then. Just be real quiet.
I'm happy with that.
Anyone that's pressing forward, go ahead and
I'll take that.
make a check for your move quietly. It would probably be prowl, but if you feel you have a more applicable skill.
I've got a point in prowl. I'm wondering if I should take a deal with the devil on this one.
Right. We would say risky standard for that.
Definitely risky. Let's go risky limited, because your movement is so cut off by having to avoid guards, having to move slowly.
Oh fuck.
Ooh.
Oh no.
Oh shit.
Sparks?
Would... he's already on a failure. Fuck it. Yeah, I'm just
But,
gonna
but
roll.
by the way, could I actually take one stress to help Galahad with the prowling, since I'm the light-footed one?
Absolutely.
Right, and I'm taking one stress, and he can roll one more die, right?
Okie day.
Can I... No, fuck it. I'm just gonna roll. I'm just gonna roll it.
Wasn't that the new reroll? The 4?
Partial success, yeah.
That was mine, yeah. Nice.
Oh, nice.
From your
Guys,
vantage
this
point,
is so easy.
Moonlight, you see them enter, and you see them start headed off towards where, you have a good pattern of where the guards are headed inside, and you see them start headed towards a pair of guards, and you get ready to whistle, and you see Avora just reach out, grab onto Galahad's heavily armored form, turn him, and they start headed away safe direction. As you're walking, Sparks would pass by a handful of barrels. Start.
I will. I'll start setting up those explosivos.
I failed Spanish. What does that mean?
I don't even know if that's actually how you would say it in Spanish. I could be entirely wrong there. I've got no idea.
Could have just
That's
offended
French, I can't
so
tell
many
you that.
people. As you all start making your way around the interior of this building, planting explosive, after explosive, get nearby the office, where you can overhear a part of a conversation which sounds like a battle plan. Like, you hear the names of specific streets, you hear numbers, which is probably numbers of reinforcements to hear, and here, if you want to hang out for a bit, you could probably overhear enough of the plan that it would sway upcoming fights in the favor of the Ironborn. Or you could simply press on and do.
Well, how about you guys stay and, continue laying out explosives? I can dip here for a little bit, and worst comes to worst, poses a guard.
If
I
you're
think
confident in your
better.
abilities.
I'm one cocky bastard. I feel like I could do it.
Fair enough. Yeah.
What's the worst thing that's gonna happen? It's a one shot. There's no consequences.
The worst thing that could happen for you is I get tired of waiting and I decide to just shoot the fuses.
Say worst case scenario, big boom.
He always goes for the sacrifice, suicide,
I'm
kamikaze
very
thing.
good at this. I'll sacrifice myself for the sake of the time. All right. Yeah, I'm gonna stay and listen along, trying to memorize / write down as much as I can.
Give it 5 minutes. And
From
we'll see what we can
here,
do.
you've kind of hit all of those points on the edge of the room, which might be enough for the explosives to take out to the stockpile. But if you want to be sure, you have that stock in the center of the room, which is either going to be very difficult and require very good timing to get to, or a load of bluffing on your part.
I could try and distract them. Send them something over that way, have it make a bit of noise.
I mean, that's up to you, but I think it's be pretty risky.
It's pretty risky to get in there anyway. If we can send them somewhere else,
I'm
I
not the
mean,
brain.
if somebody shouldn't make noise, don't. Oh, we have cue cards for the dog. Maybe Eddie can make some noise outside.
I don't think your ghosts are gonna help make noise out here.
I was talking about Eddie
He's talking
and
about Eddie.
the dog's cue cards.
Knuckles gets confused
I'll probably look
easily.
like for cue card. Like, do we have one that says distraction? Probably. It's like, hi, can Eddie make a distraction, please?
Pointer will look up at you and just kind of like trot over to the window, and you'll see his ears.
Oh my goodness. No.
Smart dog.
And at that, I think gonna hear I've pretty well surveyed the surrounding area, so I'm gonna wait for like a passerby cart to go by, just like a push cart of some kind, and I'm just gonna shoot it off the axle as it's going up a little bit of an incline, as it will like roll back into this kind of street that really primarily surrounds this building.
Yeah, make a check for that. We'll call that risky to great effect.
Sure thing. So I have an ability, sharpshooter. So I can make a range attack extreme distance beyond what's normal, but I guess really this be more of a skirmish roll in a way.
You could even call it wreck, since you're destroying an inanimate object.
That's also fair. So is my position risky if I'm concealed on top of a building?
With the noise that's going off and the flash of light, you risk exposing yourself.
Understood. Okay. Let's give that a roll then. 4. Partial success. Takes it off the wheel and brings it out. Probably doesn't bring the whole guard contingent out, but at least a few of them might be poking around.
Yeah. The sound of the rifle shot absolutely echoes through the very quiet street. I'm gonna bring the detection clock up to 6.
Ooh.
As all of you inside see the guards just jumping to their feet, looking out the windows. And from the office, you see a very well-dressed, almost military-esque man step out, look towards all of the guards inside, points towards some of them. You, go. See what that was. And they immediately, weapons out, start heading out the front into the street, inspect the way. Have your distraction.
All right, let's plant these explosives.
I'll give you both a skill check of your choice, what you feel fits this action the most. Tinkering probably would be good for Sparks, since you're working to quickly and with very dangerous substances.
Yep. All right.
Galahad?
The only one I can think would be Prowls. I'm trying to do it as quietly as possible while being a tin can.
Okay. Absolutely. Go for it.
Hey,
Maybe-
GM.
Huh?
As I see this is happening, and I can tell that we're starting to reach like the end of the mission. Is there any way I can start sneaking into that room and maybe knock out the 2 guys and steal the battle plans?
Absolutely. Jump to that in just a second.
All right, then I'm just a note for you, drawing out my cane sword.
Perfect.
Can I use survey to see if I can find out spots to put stuff is?
Yeah, absolutely.
Risky limited?
Yeah. What's the?
We'll go risky standard.
Okay.
Nice.
Nice. I'll take it.
Oops.
Can I?
and-
I can't because I'm doing. Would I be able to assist Feathers?
Um,
Because I'm doing something. So I don't know if that would.
But maybe you're telling me exactly what it looks like.
your attention is probably pretty focused on your explosives, but if you want to divert your attention,
Nah, that's okay. I don't want to risk. I'm dealing with bombs here. I don't want to risk anything with that.
okay.
Which wire?
Right. So maybe I should have gone with the 2 and then let the whatever. So the only thing I could fix this with would be a devil's bargain. I couldn't because I'm not sure if a flashback would help.
Once you've rolled a flashback, you can't really do much.
Yeah.
Could I assist by creating further
With the dog?
distraction? Yeah. I'd have in that case I'd have Pointer just brush past all the guards to draw their attention as he bursts out of the building.
Okay. Yeah, make a check of your choice. That would be...
Oh, I would just try to be assist so I could take
Assist.
off.
Oh,
Or-
just assisting.
He got a good nose too.
Gotcha. Yep. So take a point of
I
stress.
mean, he could. Yeah.
Stressed out, don't worry.
I didn't roll one more. This.
But I would suggest doing better.
Suggest succeeding, which you did. Dude, if you guys are
Pointer.
rolling hot.
Nice.
Pointer for MVP.
Oh, just you wait.
Oh!
The dog now no longer by your side, rushing, catching the attention of the guards, bringing their eyes away from you. The 3 of you get to work planning explosives. In the middle of this pile, you do see that there are weapons that could probably sell for some extra coin. That's something that would strike your fancy, or You just plant the bombs.
Will they
and
make
go.
our escape harder? Will they make our escape harder?
It could if you're carrying some heavy gear, heavier gear.
No. No, then.
Well, our big
it's
muscle man
not.
can carry it.
So I can,
He's not
I can
interested.
I can carry a decent amount.
Yeah.
Okay.
A thickly boy.
Let's see. In my list, I can take. I mean, these are like pistols and blades and whatnot and everything.
Pistols, blades, rifles, blunderbuss, scatterguns.
Galahad will take like a duffel bag and just fill it with what he can find readily
Okay.
available, and then he'll carry that out so he doesn't leave empty-handed. Because
Cool.
we got
Mark off 2 bulk for that.
will do.
As you, 3 of you get to work planting those explosives, pulling out, just quickly stuffing away whatever weapons you can find, the dim glow of the lanterns above you, keeping you in this uncomfortable amount of illumination. But the distraction seems to be holding for the moment. As your explosives are planted, and he starts turning back to where you had left Finn, jump over to Finn. Your cane sword out. There is an open window to the office.
Okay. So I want to do something a little bold, even.
Love
I
it.
have a thing called trance powder, which can put people, essentially, if they ingested a fuck ton of cocaine, and they're going to be, they're going to be a little bit nicer and friendly, almost subject to hypnotism. I would like to chuck it at them through the window. Like, get close to the window, throw it in, like, pull up like a small mask just for me to be safe. And then if they start pulling up a fight, then I'm gonna start stabby.
Make a check. I'm gonna raise the detection clock by 1 for dog.
All right, I'm gonna use prowl. Anyway, I can take on some stress. Force my own reroll.
You can make a devil deal.
I really need this. Yeah, I'll take another deal with the devil.
I will give you an extra dice. Roll 1 more. But
What's the worst that's gonna happen?
you are going to take as much of a dose of this as they are.
Yeah, I'll do that.
Roll for it.
Oh boy. That's why I like D20s. They hate me, but that's better.
With the well, you know what? Why don't you describe how this looks?
All right, so I go up to the window, right? I poke my head up real quick, and then I take out the trance powder, but as I throw it, I forget to adjust that the window is slightly open, so the bag ends up opening up early, hitting me with a bit of it, and then landing in the room, causing like a small like cloud of it to like burst right in front of them.
Okay.
So I have to take a slight minute to readjust myself.
So I'm gonna
and-
give you an injury called inhalation.
Inhalation. That's a level 1 injury, right?
Yep.
Awesome. Then I shall deal with that later.
Okay.
But yeah, now that they're a little bit more susceptible, I just want to sneak in, start grabbing some documents.
Absolutely. The pair that are left in, there's initially coughing and trying to get out of the room, which does fade away pretty quickly, and to their just stupid, trance-like state. You're able to slip in, see handfuls of documents just laid out on the table. There's one that looks like a map of the area with lines and numbers written on it. Easy enough to just roll that up, tuck it away.
And that's what I'm gonna do. Gonna be nice and calm about everything.
At this point, Moonlight, you would see that your distraction has been cleared out from the street, but you also hear footsteps coming from eastern direction of where you are, and see more members of the Bill Hooks headed not only towards you, but towards the warehouse.
Okay. Immediately going to be sending out. And unfortunately, Pointer is outside the building at this point. So just running around the side, just Caitlin like throw up a little thing in the corner, like pawing at the window so someone can look over. Just like a big placard just left there. Run.
Okay. The rest of you hear this scratching of a familiar canine. Look over, and there is just the cue card of run, and then it's gone.
Get out of here.
Yeah, Leggett just
Like, Pointer said run, let's run.
Yeah, let's go.
As you all just take back off towards the door you've come in, you do hear voices calling out of, "Hey, the hell was that? Did you see that?" And the handful of individuals still inside have now taken notice of the movement and start looking around, but you have keys, you have a clear exit, know their patrols, are in, explosives planted, and you are out.
As we're running out, in order to stop them from going over towards the explosives that have been planted, I am going to pull out a small noise-making gadget which I have created, and I'm going to just turn it on and throw it to the opposite end to where we are and where the explosives are. Just the whatever the middle distance to that is.
Yeah. No roll required for that. As the distraction goes off, all take off into the street, into the night, away from this warehouse. You would eventually reach the point where your spark tech explosives, range of your ignition of them, you're on the edge of it.
Well,
Your do or die
What?
moment of you are definitely choosing sides.
Let her rip.
Kaboom.
There's a slight
Fireworks.
delay where there's nothing, just a quiet night, and then the crack of glass and metal and shrapnel and wood, and even from your distance blocks away, it is a fireball that just illuminates the nearby buildings and sends up plumes of black smoke.
I need to make explosives more often.
that was a nice one.
Well done. Yeah, well done.
Brady.
What did you what'd you grab there, nobody?
Did Pointer take up with us, or did Pointer stay back and wait for Eddie?
Oh, Pointer disappeared, but you know that he just went and found Eddie.
Good. Make sure that dog's safe. Right? Well, that happened, let's head, not home, but home away from home.
We can
Head
head
back.
to the iron.
We should head to the. We should be heading to the docks to make sure this whole deal gets covered.
Yeah, I reckon that's.
Might that be a little suspicious if, somebody sees us heading straight there
Oh, I'm sorry.
after this happened?
Did you miss the part where they saw us blowing up?
Did you miss the part where you're not even there, dude?
I'm there now.
Just comes.
I showed
Sliding
up as this whole
down from the
conversation
rooftop.
started.
Yeah, I slide down a copper pipe. Like, look,
Just to
We
give
gotta-
me attitude.
yeah, well, that's my calling in life. You try and bed the incorporeal, and I give you shit for it. It's how we work as a team. Anyway, we head back to our base and pretend we didn't do anything. We're not gonna get any credit. We go back and make sure the Ironbreakers know that Ironborn know that we gave them a solid. We'll be fine. That's all. That's all I'm saying. It don't really matter. We blew up the munitions. We picked our choice.
I reckon he's right. We should just head straight there and get this whole mess sorted out.
Can we at least please make sure that nobody's following us? Like,
I can make
Yeah.
sure that nobody sees it.
What's wrong with you?
yes, please take care of that.
I
Don't want to know how,
made-
just do it.
I got these documents, but I accidentally got a little bit of if you know what I'm saying.
Oh,
No.
fuck, are you high?
No.
He's fucking bent. Dear God.
Fuck me.
All right, let's get this over with then.
All right.
Ghost gun.
Knuckles, make sure he doesn't do anything stupid.
As you guys, with your hull intact, start making your way back towards that dock. We're a little later than I wanted to, but we can just hop to a quick 5-minute break, give you guys a chance to spread your legs. Wow. Cancelled. We're cancelled. Go home, everyone.
All right.
I mean, if there's
Stretch.
ghosts in the
Wow,
area-
is really straight.
Better
That
make
was
it-
not me.
Stretch your legs.
Go.
Stretch your legs. Stretch your
Right, guys,
legs.
This stream is now rated R.
Spread over there.
Go
Grab
for
a
it,
drink. I'm putting us on break. We'll be right back. Welcome back. As we rejoin our cast here after a successful sabotage mission, with the black smoke still pouring into the sky, with nobody still a little loopy, has to kind of be directed into the proper direction as you're marching, as he just keeps kind of veering off to the left. Grab him, pull him back in. Well, start making your way back towards docks. Back where you had last met with the representatives, at least, of the warring faction. As you make your way through the streets, doing your best to avoid detection, making sure that you're not being followed, a sound that is very familiar to you all of metal clashing against metal, of the occasional gunshot ringing off through the streets, of shouting, is very clearly heard.
From the docks where we're heading.
From the direction you're headed.
Looks like the party started.
Makes sense.
Should I
Well-
send one of my friends to see what's happening?
I can do it.
No, I think
You can stay.
I don't think you should. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do we know of a way to help him sober up faster? Do we?
It's time, or unless one of you has like a detox brew, a detox kit, something.
Hmm,
I got a disguise kit. Does that count?
that does not help us.
I don't think arcane implements will help me.
Much.
I don't think I
They
can
might-
shock.
they won't.
I don't think I can shock him out of it.
Yeah, Avor, if you want to roll your attune.
Tune. Let's see if there's a friend around. All right. Tune. +1. Risky. Controlled?
No, I would say this is controlled. You're in your element.
Yeah. Standard.
Standard. Oh, that 6 saved you.
Yeah. Yes, it did.
Otherwise, what could have been a critical failure And
Yes, that would have been really bad.
critical failures when playing with ghosts is never good.
The ectoplasm
so
would
much
have
more
just gotten everywhere.
I'm not okay.
But
All
you
right.
start focusing on the spirits, and as you even
Eyes
just
glowing.
focus on one, you feel the presence of more lives being physically ended, but their spirits still connected with rage and anger and drive. All of the things that would keep an angry spirit here, and they're collecting at the site of what feels like a very bloody battle.
Right. Is there a ghost that's a little calmer, that's a little older? I don't want one of the raging ones.
With the close proximity to this fight and the negative energy that is just spilling out, even the ghosts that would otherwise be calm and simply floating through the streets, you can see them getting agitated in their forms, almost glitching out, and their otherwise slack faces suddenly getting angry and twisted, and then reverting to normal.
All right. So can I pull in one of the ones who just died? Maybe they can tell me what happened. I mean, I did get a 6.
It's probably gonna hurt mentally, but yeah, absolutely.
All right. So she's gonna pull one of them to question them about who's fighting whom and how it's looking.
The assault of images that slams into your psyche, as you can see members of the Iron Forge and the Bill Hooks full on battling in the streets, shots ringing out from rooftops, just dozens of figures from either side. It's even hard to tell sometimes. Just death. It does look like the Bill Hooks are probably getting the upper hand. They have the home field advantage. They have numbers. They're probably going to win this fight. But you do suffer an injury of arcane backlash.
Okay. Where do I? Is it like in my circle?
Under harm, there's 3, 2, 1, and then some lines
Yeah.
that you can fill in. Next to 1, you can just write backlash.
Okay. So once she comes back out of that and her eyes are not rolled back into her head anymore, she's gonna share that with the others. So now we gotta decide if we're gonna help them fight or if we're gonna lay low.
I mean, we did our bit.
I feel like you did your bit. I'm keen for a brawl.
Did he tell us what kind of, by the way, what kind of plans he found, or did he just try out and never said nothing about what he found?
That's a great question.
Because did you ever share anything about the battle plans you found?
Oh yeah, the plant thingies.
yeah.
I got them right here. You want to say it?
Yes, please.
Oh,
So we can
yeah,
see if
sure.
maybe there's a choke point that we can, do something to influence this battle without being in a full-on firefight.
Uh-huh, yeah, all right. So, so you say, right? They're gonna be attacking higher, and higher, and then what's gonna happen is my brother's gonna leave my fucking room, and then, they'll start moving some positions out. I don't know what the fuck I was just taking on my room, but I'm gonna kill a bitch later.
I'm going to give you guys a clock that I'm going to title 4. And that clock is measuring the time until the battle will be.
Right. So can we see on the battle plans, is there something that we could affect without getting into a full-out brawl that would hamper the Bill Hooks supply lines? I don't know.
I mean,
Something like that.
there are certainly positions of riflemen up in buildings. There are supply runners moving from fortified positions. There's places where you can see orders are coming from and the battle is actively being controlled by leaders there in midst the fight, all would be valid points to hit.
All right, what does our sniper say?
Well, I say you put me in line to take out anyone particularly in charge and spook the rest, and we can turn this fight around real fast.
All right. The ones who run into supplies, are those like urchins, or are those like, I don't know?
Full on
you
street
think-
urchins.
Right. So if he takes out the leadership, and then if we can stop the supplies coming through, we have a good way to take out the urchins. Maybe just grab them and knock them out. Have the dog sit on them. I mean, not that they have to die.
I can handle these urchins, not a problem.
I mean, I can also try another ghost and see if they scare easily, but they're urchins. They might not.
So
Hey,
we're
don't-
fighting then, yeah?
Don't knock the urchins. They do a lot for the community.
That's what I'm saying.
They can
The
get.
answer
They
is
are
yes.
tougher than people think.
Mhm.
All right. So how many
Well-
supply runners or supply routes do we see?
So I'll immediately take this into your engagement roll, which I believe we could call this an assault engagement.
Yeah.
I got a gun.
So your specific intention is to do violence to the target. You get 1 dice for pure sheer luck. Is this operation particularly bold or daring? I think I would say yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, outnumbered.
Trying to take out the leadership.
Okay.
Nah, I
Yeah.
think we got it. It's
Um,
particularly calm.
Are you attacking a particular weak point?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because we're attacking all the weak points because that's what we got the plans for.
Technically, you're fighting forces that are already in combat. They're probably expecting resistance. I don't know that.
But
Yeah,
not
that makes
from this
sense.
side. Not from the side we're coming from.
I don't know that it's weak enough to get an extra die for.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, but she's totally got a pistol.
Do you have any immediate friends or contacts that could possibly provide aid?
I
You know what? Can I take a flashback?
No.
That
Absolutely.
I actually made friends with some of the urchins when that I was sharing food with them.
Yeah.
The kindness of my heart.
Make a roll.
Oh, yeah.
Whatever roll you feel fits.
All right. So how about we'll do sway.
We'll call this a zero stress
Oh.
flashback.
0 flash. So if I roll sway, is this controlled standard?
I would say it's
Or
controlled.
what should I roll?
This is your territory. This is your home.
Mm-hmm. No modifier. Ah!
Can I assist? Oh, I can't assist in a flashback, can I?
Well, were you there?
With
Were you
urchins?
there?
Were they
Were
boxing?
you there carrying the food?
They could be fans of
Helping me?
boxing.
If the urchins were fans of boxing, maybe they're fans of mine, being a famous boxer in the underground.
They might not have trusted me, but maybe they trust him.
So yeah, go ahead and roll 1 more die. I'll give you both a point of stress, 1 for the aid and 1 for needing the aid and feeling that sense of failure without help.
Yeah, she were probably PO'd. Come on. Oh, for fuck's sake. Never mind, they hated me.
Yeah, they took the food, and then right as you feel like you're making an impression, they are just gone with the entire bag of food you had that you were planning to take to multiple groups, and there's just laughter as they are just running off into a crowd with their.
Yeah. Maybe they were betting on, the person Galahad beat up.
Could be. Either way,
I wasn't. Didn't work.
Oh.
Too bad. We tried.
make sure you both take your point of stress, and then. So I think we're at a 2 dice fortune roll for this setup.
Yeah.
Yep.
Nothing can go wrong.
That's still a success.
Yes.
You
Good.
have enough plan, you have enough skills that in the moment you are certainly attacking from an advantageous position. You're able to get there without any inside influence stopping you, detecting you. And we will, unless there's any last second preparation, jump into the start of the mission.
Is there any way during this advanced preparation that I can become unhigh?
Do you have anything in your inventory that might do that?
No.
If you want to do a flashback to find some antitoxin, knowing that you had that gas on you.
Yep. Or a stash.
I will try. Yeah, sure. You know what? I feel like I would try to carry something, you know, in case I ever got exposed to my own stuff.
No roll, but I'll give you a point of stress for it.
I'll take it.
You're able to consume enough of the antitoxin that the injury is still there, but at least for probably the next hour, your mind is clear.
Well,
I'm gonna
We're good.
you're on high now. You're fixed.
Yeah.
For a little bit. I mean, by then it shouldn't matter one way or another.
Right. We're either going to be dead or... I'm sorry, I was spacing out during the
Celebrating.
entire planning phase. What the fuck are we doing?
Taking out the big
Eddie's
boys.
Eddie's taking
killing
over
people
leadership.
now.
Yeah.
Oh,
Kill, maim, harm. It's all relative.
We're just stopping the urchins from running supplies. Nobody said anything about killing them, but the leadership gets killed, yeah. I don't think Eddie's going to take them down without killing them.
Non-lethal sniper shot.
Yeah.
I'm gonna take out my
Rubber bullet.
blowtorch,
Okay.
and I'm going to attach the nozzle to the front to turn it into a flamethrower.
So
Nice.
mark off 2 bulk.
Yep.
You know what? Can I actually use an unusual weapon since, you know, I'm from the jungle? Can I use like a dart gun, but not like an actual gun with darts to
You
take
need a
people
crossbow?
out?
A cross.
No, not a crossbow with bolts.
A nail
A
gun?
gun, a trank gun.
Yeah,
The crossbow.
absolutely. Mark off that.
No, a
That's-
gun.
Mark off that point of bulk.
How is this?
I
thing
can't
fired?
add things to my sheet.
How is it fired? Oh, it's got like a little, arrow mechanism, like a bow thing.
It's compressed air.
Oh, it's an air rifle. There you go.
Actually, it has like little bullets in it, you know, with little needles in the front.
Ah, yes, of course, the famous trank bullets.
Absolutely. You don't know that they don't exist. Maybe my friend over here made them. Special for me.
Okay. If your preparation is done, then we'll say that Galahad and whoever else wanted to run off and deal with the supply urchins. Your mission isn't overly difficult or dangerous. It's something that could be done pretty quickly, especially with how scary Galahad is. So we will simply you guys just out of the scene for a moment, giving your mission time to succeed, and then bringing you back in. Would anyone have gone off with Galahad?
I'll go.
So what?
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I might be high as shit in about an hour, alright? I'm not risking being part of any central plan.
Okay.
She would have also gone for the urchins, you know,
So
with the.
Feathers, Knuckles, and Nobody are off to sever the supply line running from sniper posts to the front lines, keeping all of the the billhooks stalked in this middle of the night battle. That leaves Moonlight and Sparks. The two
Alright,
of you
well-
engage in this mission. Go for it.
I think the main plan is going to be understanding the general layout of where they have sniper nests and other sorts of things. If we can get Sparks and his, space clearing tool, shall we say, to flush out a nest and then take it over, I think that would be a pretty good spot because they wouldn't expect fire from one of their own.
Absolutely. I'll let you make that roll for that, and Sparks, if you want to aid, take a point of stress and do so.
I will absolutely do that. I've taken
All
no
right.
stress. Oh.
So we'll hunt down a semi-exposed spot. Partial success.
Nice.
Yeah. I will mark the war tracker up 1 tick as you manage to track down one of those nests of riflemen who has basically just been doing their best to keep any reinforcements coming in, taking shots at any boats that start coming across the water, and keeping the battlefield contained to certain streets. Your flamethrower certainly makes very quick work of the handful of soldiers up there and leaves you with a nice, if slightly charred, vantage point.
Lightly charged.
Good. I'm gonna pass the map over to Sparks. You point. You go ahead and point out where they're gonna be, and I'll handle the
All right.
rest.
We're gonna.
All right.
I'll start looking over the map.
By this point, the rest of you, back from scaring the crap out of some urchins or whatever it is you did to get them out of this fight, you all now approach the scene, approach the sound of gunfire still ringing out in the darkness, occasional flashes of light mixed in with just the glow of fire down some of these blocks. What are the three of you doing?
We took care of the urchins.
Urchins are out. There's at least one rifleman nest that is out.
Right. Is there any other like nests of like, I don't know, sharpshooters or something that we could get to that I could quietly take out with the sleep darts without them actually noticing we're there?
Absolutely.
Galahad will probably use himself as bait at this point because he's Iron Man.
Okay.
So he'll use himself to draw out any other sniper's nest, or basically use himself as bait to draw out targets for his allies to take out.
Yeah, absolutely. Since you are a willing target, I mean, you're absolutely gonna immediately draw gunfire as there is now just a heavily armored soldier in the midst of behind their lines. So I'll give Feathers, you've got a roll for whatever you feel your sleep darts would best be. And Galahad, I'll actually let you make a resistance roll if you'd like for the coming gunfire.
Yes, please.
I'm guessing Prowl would be the closest.
I could see Prowl using the
Because-
cover to get close enough to take a shot.
Yeah, because I don't think Attune will help, Consort or Sway will help. Study and Survey is not really helping either, so that's about her only option.
Survey could work.
It's about the same, so
And it's prowess is what you want for resistance.
Yeah, that would make sense.
alright, so
So
It's a success.
risky, I'm guessing.
Definitely.
Standard.
You know what? Let's call it great, because you are wiping out a nest of
Oh.
riflemen.
Never mind. That was fat fingers. Sorry. I had set to standard. All right. Great. And do I get a modifier for my unusual weapon and my willing decoy?
I will consider Galahad's efforts to be an aid, so you'll have an extra die.
All right. Yeah. Okay.
Partial
Good enough,
success.
I guess.
And of course, Galahad or Knuckles, as you are in mission, we're using your alias. The gunfire immediately rings out, striking the armor, sending you back a step, but covering the vital spots, making yourself this known target. It opens up, points to Feathers. Gets close enough to take a shot. That completely silent, compressed air dart sinks true into what you were aiming at least one of the riflemen. And as you are just withstanding one shot, two shots, Galahad, the next shot does ring out, but don't feel the impact. One of their companions dropped, and the rifle turned, scanning the street for whatever it may have been, and Avora, I'll give you a check to probably prowl from the eyes of the rifleman, but ultimately what skill you use is up to you.
Okay. So that's about the only thing she really can do, because none of the others really, work with that. All right, so we gotta do prowl again. All right, I'm guessing this one's risky.
Oh yeah,
All right. Standard.
standard.
All right, and no modifiers.
Wanna take a deal?
Make
Hmm.
do what you want.
Huh. Could I actually use my other two and say I have some climbing gear so that I can get away and maybe get an extra die?
Sure. If you want to mark off what I believe is the last of your loadouts, yeah,
Yes, my last two, yeah.
absolutely. I'll add an extra die to it.
All right. So I'm gonna use climbing gear that I have. Where was I? Oh. I don't like the Mac. Where'd the window go?
Hashtag played stealth.
Where is it? No, not that one. Come on. There we go. Okay, so +1. Risky, standard. Yeah. That's not good.
Even from your position, slightly elevated, with the rope attached, anchored up above you, the rifleman just scanning the street. The scope does eventually stop, judging the angle of where his partner was hit and dropped from, and that shot rings out the darkness. So on line 2, you can fill in both of those with a gunshot.
Okay.
That means that you are -1 dice.
Yeah.
Okay.
With that, we'll jump over to Eddie and Sparks. As the other's position is marked on your map, and it's Sparks pointing it out to you, and you see the shots ringing out from there, and see that shot ring out, that flash of light, and it hits a figure that looks very similar to one of your allies. It's distant.
Yeah, I don't overly enjoy that. Is this one of the areas where they have someone in command in there?
This is just one of the rifleman nests.
Oh, I of course feel morally obligated to take revenge, but we are out here looking for VIPs. If we
Which,
can't find any, of course I'll take a shot.
oh, you
but-
absolutely have them. You have a bird's eye view of the battle. You can see the streets that are filled with bodies. You can see the iron. Wow, immediately forgetting the name of my own faction.
Ironborn?
Ironborn.
Ironborn, thank you. That have withdrawn back to the docks. They're slowly being pushed back.
Okay. I'm gonna ask Sparks here to show me to find someone particularly important looking in the crowd.
Absolutely. Sparks, make a skill check of your choice.
Can I make a survey check?
Absolutely.
Awesome. And you know what? I'm gonna deal with the devil on this one. I haven't done that yet.
Okay. Give you an extra die, but with this shot, it is probably going to give the other rifleman nest enough time to rack another round and take another shot at your allies.
Alright. Risky standard.
I would actually say you're in a controlled position.
Nice.
Kidding.
Oh, she's gone.
Partial success.
Have a good shot. You have cleared it. You've done your job as a spotter. And Moonlight, you are more than capable enough to make that shot. Your own rounds now start filling the darkness, filling the streets with the sound of gunfire. As the leader, at least of that part of the street, drops under the gunfire, those around him just immediately start scanning the windows. Half of them just immediately bolt to take cover. That flank that was pushing on the Ironborn has now started to fall back, and that'll add 1 dice to the Ironborn side of
Woo!
+1 for getting rid of their supply urchin, +1 for removing both of the rifleman nests. Or I should hold off on that one but
Fair.
we will hop over to Galahad and Avora. Sorry, Knuckles and Feathers. Knuckles, you see Feathers up from that climbing position, up like strapped to the rope, and that shot rang out, and now there is just the body of Feathers that is just kind of twirling on that rope. Hard to tell if she's alive or the extent of the damage, but what I'd like to do.
She's far away. How do I help friend dangling from rope with my fists? I'm going to say that I also have. Oh wait, there's already a rope there, huh?
Mhm.
And how far away is this from me, give or
I
take?
mean, if you want to sprint towards it, I'll give you a point of stress, but you could make it.
Yeah, I'm not sure if she's alive or dead, and make sure to catch the body if she falls. Point of stress, and then I book it.
You are probably right now being tracked by the rifleman. But if you're
I'm
just
Iron Man.
sprinting for it, there's not a ton you can do about that.
That's right.
Well, since I'm not dead, does that mean I can actually roll a tune and try and distract him with ghosts that
Heck
are now
yeah.
angry?
Heck yeah.
Because that would be the first reaction that she would have if somebody shoots her, like, "Ah, oh my god!" And
I'll even offer you a
And-
preemptive devil deal of giving you 2 extra dice for this. But those angry spirits are not only going to channel through you, but they're going to channel into you. And you
No.
are going to amplify each other's abilities.
why not?
Go for it with 2 extra dice.
To quote James, what can happen? This is a one shot. Well, plus 1 because I lose 1 for my gunshot, right?
Yeah, -1 for the guy with a total of +1.
All right.
Yeah.
So, and I'm guessing that's risky
Oh yeah,
and great.
great effect.
Also, him sprinting is that a bonus for me because they're distracted?
Um,
I scream and yell, "Come at me, you pansies!"
I'll give you an extra dice for the aid.
All right.
I take 1 more stress for that, yeah?
Yeah.
I'm fine, guys.
Yeah, partially at least. I'm like, no more 3s. 3s are bad.
It is enough of a success that fury channels into you, and you just scream up towards that other rifleman. Why don't you tell us what happens?
Well, I'm thinking that part of what happens is what they normally see when she gets into the spirit world, when she attunes, is like their eyes roll back and they kind of like Chloe, and the hair is like, which I'm thinking would be pretty freaky if she's hanging like upside down and twirling,
Mhm.
and the hair is standing up and the eyes are glowing, and she screams like a banshee, and maybe even you can see like the sound waves kind of making like weird waves towards them.
Yeah, absolutely. It is a visible explosion of psychic energy that causes just a scream of pain from that nest, which is immediately cut as they drop and that second nest is cleared. And holy crap, we have a raid from Live from the Apocalypse. Thank you
Let's
so
go.
much. That's
Woo.
freaking. That is heckin' amazing.
Hmm.
Welcome. We're playing some Blades in the Dark. We're approaching the end of the mission, but we're in the middle of a street brawl, gunfire ringing out, fire illuminating the streets. And
Banshee.
our Whisper Feathers is currently dangling from a rope, blood still dripping off into the ground. As Galahad, you get there and are able to reach up and slowly lower her down. Blood just pouring onto your hand, down your arm. It's a pretty good gunshot.
You don't look so
Yep.
good.
I don't feel so good. She's probably still like hair standing on end, still kind of jittery from channeling all their power, especially on top of the backlash she already had.
Yeah, you can just extend that backlash to fill that second level 1 injuries.
All right.
Well, I didn't bring any med kits with me. I got some gauze to help wrap you up. I'm not good with this healing thing. I'm usually on the opposite end of this.
All right. So she's gonna use the gauze and like the scarf that she's using, and just gonna whatever it is tie it off.
Mm-hmm.
So I think this was about as much as I could do face to face.
Well,
Can we get somewhere safe now?
yes, and I will pick her up and carry her to the nearest safety area before
Okay.
joining back in the fight.
Well, that will lead to my next question of your rifleman nests are out. You've disrupted at least one flank of the oncoming bill hooks. You've cut their supply line. Do you at this point the next step would be to actually join the fray? Or you could take a step back and just say, we've done what we've done. Let's lick our wounds and fall back.
Feathers is definitely not up to being in
Fighting.
any kind of fight.
Galahad is all for the glory. He wants in on this fight.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'd say. Well, I think if we linked back up, I think we'd have a moment where we're all kind of like back in the back, kind of like a back alley behind the one burnt out sniper, the rifles den. All right, so that's most of our parts done. How we feeling?
I would very, very briefly, I'd like to point out the Blades in the Dark website seems to have become a Japanese store page. So I think they've lost their IP over the course of this stream.
Nice.
Oh boy.
Anyway,
I know Feathers is doing a little worse for wear. I'm fantastic. I'm ready to get back in there.
yeah, the question is, do we want to get back in there? Is it worth it, do we think?
I mean, at this point, we can only go up from here if we get some bounty points, if you will, for helping out the Ironborn. I think it only helps us.
I hate that you're right.
And I love it.
All right, how about well, who doesn't want to run in here?
I mean, I can keep going. This is fine.
Okay.
How about you, nobody? How you feeling?
Pretty good.
Yeah, a little doozy, a little worn off a little bit.
Yeah. The detox is starting to take a little bit of a wear off, but I still got some roughing kicking in me.
Plan of attack. I go in there, I fight everybody, and you pick off the ones I don't fight. I like that plan.
Why don't you take Sparks and why don't you go take Sparks in there, cause some chaos, and then you, as you draw attention, nobody and I can take it anyone who looks too important. Feathers, you go. Don't die.
Good plan. I'm all with that.
Of course, right now, Feather's eyes are pure black. The hair's still flowing almost like she's under the effect of permanent static. And there is just this cold energy that is just pulsing off of her.
Right. Well, that's what you get for fucking with ghosts.
Alright. Well, in the wrap up of this assault, we will start with Sparks and Galahad. Sorry, Sparks and Knuckles.
Oh.
I keep doing that.
Is that okay?
The two of you, I'll have a check for both of you. Whatever check you feel will contribute to succeeding in this fight.
I would obviously like to skirmish, but I'd also like to use my ability not to be trifled with and push myself as I engage with these gang members.
Absolutely.
I'd like to use Wreck. Now, I have the Saboteur ability here, which lets
Ooh.
me, when I use Wreck, it's quieter and the damage is hidden from casual inspection. Would that help you at all?
It would certainly keep reinforcements from immediately swarming onto your position.
Alright, good. Then yeah, I'm doing that.
You guys can both go for it.
And then pushing
Push us in.
myself gives me what?
Two stress, one die roll,
One extra.
and add one level to your effect.
Look at
So
you
it's,
knowing the rules and stuff.
I have a book.
Is this controlled,
way.
risky, or desperate?
Oh, I would definitely call this risky, but to great effect. You guys are both just forces to be reckoned with.
Also, I'm going to push myself as well.
Oh, let's go.
Woo.
Absolutely. You're part of the effort. I will absolutely add another victory die, Ironborn side of this.
Oh. I'm using all the WWE wrestling moves.
And since both of you were pure successes, there are no injuries.
Woo! Iron Man
bad.
win.
That army is broken in half.
We'll jump down to let's go with Feathers next. You, of course, are injured, bleeding out, but that rage is still deep set in you at the moment. If you would like to contribute to this fight, you could certainly do so, or you could sit out and just tend to your injury.
Since I'm not actually going anywhere, would I be in a controlled environment if I try to use that rage and connection that's still left to attune to something else?
With the fact that you are, at the moment, actually possessed by a spirit of rage, continuing to fight is just a guaranteed.
Right. I was just wondering if I stay back and, since I'm already attuned, if I could send this spirit of rage or more spirits of rage on to help.
You will not have to roll that. They are under your command. But I would have you roll a resist to stop that possession from consuming you more.
Resist.
So a resist. Pull up your. It would be a resolve resist, which means you would roll 3 dice.
Okay.
And on a success, you are negating any bad things from happening, but you're taking a number of stress equal to 6 minus your highest dice roll.
Okay. Okay, so 3d6?
Mhm.
Okay.
Excellently done.
Right, and that means no stress.
No stress. Actually, sorry, taking a step back. Sparks and Knuckles, you guys want to describe your teamwork effort in this sabotage street brawl that you two get into.
How are you using your saboteur over there, Sparky? Sparks?
Okay.
Sparky.
I am cutting through everything that doesn't have eyes on it. So just going around, it's just, exposed. All right. Very good.
And I am beating up every bill hook that I can find in order to distract them so that way Sparks can do his work uninterrupted.
Absolutely. And then we will jump back to the present of Feathers as you command these spirits of pure anger and hatred. Why don't you paint us a picture?
Well, her eyes are still completely one color and rolled back. The static is coming, and she kind of just raises her hands while she's, taking a deep breath, and she lets out all that rage in this big banshee scream and just, pushes the energy towards the enemy. She's hurling all of that anger away from her.
Absolutely. Love the imagery of just building up that spiritual energy and then just sending it out in this destructive path. Anything it can hit. Beautiful. We'll jump over to Nobody, because I feel Finn probably has something cooking over there. We'll save you for last.
All right. So while all this is going down, Finn is a little bit more on the social side of things. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna actively look for some hooks, and then I'm gonna start lying to make them go in the wrong direction completely. Basically, I'm gonna pretend to be one of those guards that I got really high earlier, and then because I got some really good disguises, I'm gonna start trying to sway them to go in other directions, keep people away, basically wild goose chase to make sure
Yeah,
they're doing
go for it.
anything but being helpful. Awesome. I'm gonna use sway.
That spy's just gentle influence over the battlefield that can just absolutely sway a fight.
Wait, hold on. I'm trying to see if my ability would kick in here.
I think it would.
When you use a disguise or other form of convert misdirection, you get a +1 die to rolls to confuse or deflect suspicion.
Absolutely.
Awesome. I knew this would be helpful at one point. That, and I'll never... Yeah, there we go.
Almost a critical success. If you roll 2 6s, it is a critical success.
No.
Well,
Yeah, do you want to paint us a picture of this deceit and this deception?
sure. As I see like a small militia, like starting to come and start like, what I can clearly see will be a good vantage point that would be, helpful for them. I just go, all right, you're going the wrong directions. It's completely wrong. You got to go the other way.
Weren't you Texan?
No, I'm doing a disguise. I can't do a Texan accent. They'll know
A
who I am.
Texan disguise. Look, cowboy, man.
He's a cowboy.
The band of reinforcements that had been collecting for that second push, you divert them off down streets. You know there's no fighting. By the time they even realize where they are and what's happening, fight will be long gone.
Right, I swear to God, I saw him over there.
And then, last but not least, Moonlight. From your vantage position, this is literally your bread and butter. There is chaos, there is gunfire happening. What you doing, buddy?
I feel like there's got to be some kind of soft classical music, maybe like like Spring, the Spring by gosh, what's his name?
Beethoven. Bach.
Doesn't matter. But he's just he works his way up to his into that other rifle nest where it's got obviously it didn't get burned, so there a lot of their more equipment is that there, and he just kind of sets them all up on a line overlooking the battlefield like a golfer examining a shot, and just goes to work setting up a shot, finds someone who's shouting orders, boom, finds the next person who tries to shout orders, boom. Anyone who tries to take command within that immediate skirmish on the side of the billhooks is going to come down with a serious case of lead and brain disease.
Considering that nobody has driven away reinforcements, that Feathers has just infected this side of the fight with spirits of rage, and Knuckles and Sparks have taken out barricades. They've brought down any reinforced positions. I will give you just a natural +2 dice to whatever skill check you would like to make.
Damn.
Okay. And I'll push myself as well
For
to
another
do
+2.
sharpshooter. So, technically speaking, and I also changed this to great, but I will take on that 2 additional stress. So it only goes up to +3, but I'm gonna roll an extra d6 here, just to be sure. So there's gonna be a success, but just rub it in their faces.
Yep.
Another 4. So yeah.
That classical. It's that scene where that music is playing, and it feels like it should be calm, but it's just Moonlight up there taking a shot. Shots. Everybody.
Get out of here.
It's Vivaldi, by the way.
Probably, with the, beats of the music.
It's
Just,
beautifully deadly.
It's actually just Duel of the Fates the entire time. So you just...
With that, but the fight coming to an end, Billhooks have 1 dice for their pure luck, 1 dice for being home territory, but that's it. With a 5 being their highest dice, versus the Ironborn, who have a natural +5 for your effort, a +1 for luck, a +1 for holding their position. Puts them at, was that 8.
uh,
Absolutely
Do you think we
more
can
than
do
a
it?
critical success.
Let's go.
Not only are their forces repelled, but this entire district now falls under the Ironborn. Your choice very clear, your side very clearly distinguished. As they fill these streets, they start reinforcing buildings. Other gangs that you know of in the area start joining their side. It's not the end of the war, but this battle has a clear victor. And it seems that you were on the right side.
Of course.
That's all that matters.
At the end of the fight, I do need one more resolve save from Feathers, as the spirits are still full in possession that you have been working with. Now that the fight's over, you need to cut that connection. You need to regain your sanity.
Alright, so would I use Attune for that?
This is a resolve save, so it's
Just plain, no modifiers, no nothing? Would I get a modifier for winning?
Since all of your allies are with you, no one was injured, and you have that support, I'll give you an extra die.
Alright. Yes!
Critical success. Managed to sever
you
that
for your
tie
help. And send them on.
for the day and probably the next following days. Your connection to the spiritual world is probably fully severed. You are just full stop mute to that while your psyche recovers. But it will recover.
Yep, and I might have a pretty cool scar. I mean,
Most
I mean-
definitely.
With that,
got a gunshot, right?
the following days are oddly quiet. It is reinforcements coming across the river. It's plans being drawn out. It is all of you officially being brought in to the Ironborn gang.
Right. Winners.
Absolute winners.
Yeah.
And before we bring this to a close, is there anything that any of you would like to do in those few days of downtime that you feel your character would take part in?
I think that Sparks would teach the Ironborn. Maybe obviously they've got their former workers, so they've got the experience working with metals. They know how to use their hands, but Sparks is going to teach them more the specific intricacies of invention. He's going to teach them how to make basic explosives. He doesn't want to give away all of his secrets, but he's going to teach them how to make those basic explosives. Maybe simple machinery, just some things about like basic engines, just stuff like that. Stuff like that.
Gotcha. Anyone else?
Finn is going to start setting up new social contacts, as some of the ones that he used to have are now dead.
Yep.
And it'll be quite nice to start getting my fingers into some other places that I normally couldn't have before.
Beautiful.
Get the ghosts. Sorry, one more thing. Finally get the ghost talk. I feel like that was also really important.
Get the ghost talk.
Eddie's got to clean house a little bit. In the following days, some bodies start piling up in the local area. Nothing serious. Just like some particular notable minor gangs who our crew has been having some problems with. They can go complain to the Ironborn, but they shrug their shoulders, say they have no idea what's going on. And conveniently enough, any protection that might have promised them just never arrives in time.
I absolutely love taking that opportunity to handle personal business while you are now so highly regarded. Action. Love
It's our one thing.
Galahad will just spray paint or paint knuckles everywhere. He will train all the Ironborns how to box properly, because obviously Bill Hooks don't know how to do shit. Yeah, he just wants to get his name out there as best he can, so that way everyone knows that he's the best.
Yeah. Show him all
Yeah,
that Bill Hook, like street brawling that you've learned since you have been part of that former gang, transferring all that knowledge over.
Yeah.
And Feather, since she's laid up, I'm guessing since she was carried, she might have gotten shot in the leg, so she could probably not do much. So we'd probably write a treatise on, the banshee rage scream and what things happen, and and every time she can, she's gonna sneak point her some treats for getting them out of that mess. See if she can get that dog a little chunkier.
You would all notice that there are moments where the usual Avora is definitely back to normal. There will be just this moment every once in a while where she'll just snap at something far more aggressive and far more quick to anger than she was before. But then goes back to her normal self.
Nothing wrong at all. No lasting effects.
Yeah. With the war now in full swing, and probably the scene of some future games of Blades in the will bring today to a close. And before we get into any announcements of where I give these guys a chance to plug whatever they're working on, tell you a bit about themselves, I just want to give all of you a massive bravo, a round of applause, because you guys coming into a new system that I don't think anyone knew before today, and absolutely killing it.
Well, it was super
Nice
basic. It's a really simple.
Very fun.
We played a new
Yeah.
system.
We're not playing Pathfinder?
I thought we just played. I tell you what you want to do, and you tell me, what to roll. That's the system we always play.
We were playing an RP. I thought this was just improv. This is
Yeah,
my acting class. What?
Freeform.
But yeah, alright, let's jump over. Of course, now that we're going clockwise like a normal person, Pat is again first clockwise. So you want to just tell us a little bit about yourself, if you're working on anything that you want to plug, go for it.
Okay. So yeah, no, I've got nothing. I'm not working on anything at the moment. I will just leave off with the note that I may look as white as the rest of them, but I'm not from America or Canada, so yeah, keep that in mind.
It is
How
either a
fancy.
promise or a threat, we're not sure.
Why am I kind of intimidated? What's going on?
Threatened.
Jump down to Billy then.
Hi, Billy. I don't do anything creative besides play games with Hooper. I play Brawley in his weekly Lost Caravan game. Currently, all I'm trying to do is play more one-shots, expose myself to new systems and new people, these great, lovely faces that we see here. Yeah, I just trying to be more active in the community, and hopefully I'll see you guys there.
Yeah. This is a Vivacia.
Hi, I'm Vivacia or Vivi. I'm pretty much all over the darn place. I like to play new things and old things and whatever else I can get my paws on. So every second Monday, we just played this week. On Mondays, I play an Artificer in a 5e game in the Dalelands, where we have just returned from Mystara, and she just basically figured out she's not human. She's actually an ASMR, and she has a celestial guide. So we will not be playing this Monday, but the Monday after on Wiley Hobbit's channel at 7 p.m. EST. Now for this week, already said on Tuesday, I completely overbooked my own butt. So today I was with you lovely people. On Tuesday I was with you lovely people. On Saturday at 8 p.m. EST, I'm playing on Baltman Games, where we're playing Undermountain the musical. Now I can't sing for shit, but I work with 2-year-olds, so I can make songs out of everything, including bathroom games and schnot. I can do this. This is going to be hilarious. Sunday at, if I remember right, 5 p.m. EST, Stella Luna is running one of her community games for her Patreon, and we're actually playing Strixhaven, where I'm going to bring us our very first game. And my student is actually going to be a Triton Paladin. Never played a Paladin before, but that's okay. She's a pacifist. She is there for herbology. She loves plants, and she brought algae from her ocean to make sure that she has friends there. So it's going to be hilarious to see how a pacifist paladin is going to stand up for her friends. And then next Wednesday, I'm going to be the keeper. I'm going to be actually DMing my first game in like over a year. We're going to play Brindlewood Bay, which is Murder, She Wrote, with a little bit of Call of Cthulhu, where my murder mavens are having a case of the oopsies on a TV show, because the great Jolly Bake Off is coming to Brindlewood Bay, and they are trying to win the trophy, but then there's a murder. And the law can't do it.
I assume all this can be found on your Twitter?
Yes. But that is on the Lady May, and that's all I can think of right now.
Please, absolutely go
because I'm
check
crazy.
All these people's Twitters
Miss Vivacia, MRS Vivacia, so that you can actually find this in case I got something wrong. But yeah, come see all my senior murder mavens that I'm gonna make senior commercials. You know, they have to do senior commercials. Maybe I'm gonna give them more hemorrhoid commercials. Get out of shit. Instead of devil deals, they can, you know, do senior commercials. So that's gonna be hilarious.
Very exciting. Mr. Turk.
Hey. Hi, I am Turk, or Turk Accented. I was your hound for the evening in the form of Eddie Knight or Midnight. A lot of fun hanging out with everybody. This is just this is my first time playing Blades in the Dark, and it's just like perfect. If you want to see more of what I do for the rest of the month, I'll primarily be over on TPK Roleplay. I'll just run this really quick. Emerald Expeditions, which is an Emerald Enclave series of one-shots once a month in a larger connected campaign. Starting from level 1, going all the way up to level 20. Will be this Monday. Tuesday, we are back in Thylea with my game that I run in Oathsworn, an Odyssey of the Dragonlords campaign, which combines mythology and D&D and is generally a very good time for me. And that's really all that matters in the end, I suppose. I think my players have fun. Beyond that, on the 29th, we are back in Barovia with Dark Echoes, the Curse of Strahd campaign, nice and early in the morning. My pitch there for the tone we're going for is last session, someone was turned from a tenor to an alto, or maybe even higher. And I'll be playing Dr. Rudolf von Richten. And that's pretty dang fun. We'll have a recording session, so keep a lookout on Neon Lights roleplay for Core Hearts, which is an Overarms campaign. Nearly called it Anima, but that's something entirely different. And then on the 31st, to clear out your month, I'll be over on TPK with Winterhold's Finest, which, if you're not familiar, is where a bunch of the GMs from TPK come together and try to just like hurt me mentally as I run them through a murder mystery, and they just don't.
They just don't.
I've had to pause. We've had to pause sessions because everyone's been dying of laughter, and players have, it's gonna be very silly, I think. They don't trust anybody. They're more concerned about finding spicy nuts than the killer. It's a whole thing. But of course, I'll eventually work my way back into here. It's part of my vast influencer empire, as I say, not really ever posting anything anywhere. So definitely keep it locked in on Twitter and support all the wonderful people you see on your screen, because they are amazing, and I want to play with them again very soon.
Heck yeah. And last but not least, Mr. James.
Hi. Yes, you can find me over at
a
the
few of
Deadly
them
Date
left.
YouTube channel.
Yes.
Where we do a bunch of cool Pathfinder
possible
work. We got a bunch of
there.
cool projects coming out in the future. Can't talk about any of
Like,
them
a few of them are
because
left around still.
reasons, but we got a bunch of cool stuff coming your way. As for me personally, you can find me at GeekJames513 on Twitter, where I post various homebrew. I'm probably gonna start converting the new Critical Role Reborn
Think of it like
book into second edition because legally I cannot sell that. So I feel like it was a good compromise just to post it for free.
Yeah, we're not all that.
Besides that, I'm a freelancer,
The town of,
primarily second
outside
edition,
of
but will write
the
for any
Empire
system. And yeah,
slowly converting.
that's about it for me. I will continue being here next month.
Yeah.
It's a slow spread.
And if you're watching this live, if you're watching the VOD on YouTube, and you want to join us on one of these streams, come join the Discord. It's where we post all of our roll calls, all of our the games that we're trying to play, the one-shots, the mini-campaigns. It's where all of it goes. So if you want to join us, that's the place to be. Other than that,
So we have that handled.
um,
Another thing to handle is
I think we can
finding
probably...
Elmar's workshop and deciding
one of the channels that I like to watch,
and
Nightmare
removing him
Nexus,
from the
they are
equation.
currently live,
Would that not
so
be
I'm going to throw us
inevitable?
into a raid. But I want to thank you all for watching. You are amazing. We love you so much. All of the love.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I wish you all a goodbye, a good night, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.
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 Fucking island.
We need to figure out how to like.
Throw us in a
Track
raid
it
in
down.
5, 4, 3.
The thing
Two,
is that once we're on
1.
the island, we're gonna be fighting.
Bye-bye.
Boom, everything.
It moves
Mhm.
every 3 days. It's
Uh,
not
we
an
have-
island.
I am dying.